Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
England are up the proverbial creek. Sans paddle. India have a lead of 250, and that's probably already enough. So we go through the motions until that inevitable moment and the ensuing argument over whether the pitch or England's lack of technique against spin is the real culprit. Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I am Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and I am joined first thing by one very happy man, one very miserable man, and me, who is, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. It's hello to, in Singapore, our man, Anindo Dutta. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Good morning, Hendo.
Good morning. Are you as happy as I'm making out?
I'm reasonably pleased. I'd be even happier if England were to get all out below 36 in their second innings.
Oh, I see. You just want those bragging rights, don't you? I know what you're doing there.
Yeah.
And
live down Adelaide.
Exactly, yes. I did think that could happen yesterday, although when I woke up and saw that they were 39 for 4, I thought, phew, we got past the first mark. Also with me this morning, indeed, in Epping, no less, is the man they call Nestle Boy. Hello, Nestlers.
Good morning. I'm not miserable, by the way.
You're not miserable. Why not? You're English. Be miserable.
English.
Oh no, but you trace your sort of lineage back to those
Well, it's not much of a line.
Irish Sea, don't it?
My mum and dad are Irish.
Irish.
It doesn't go far.
Doesn't go far. But presumably someone else must have been Irish before them, or where did they come from?
No, they were the first and only.
They were the first. I see that they found your mother and father under gooseberry bush.
I'm amused by all the gnashing of teeth over it all. It makes me smile.
Well, you are just the naturally most chilled man on the programme, aren't you? To be fair. To be fair, you just take it. You just run with the flow. Go with the flow, don't you?
I'd be out there going, Joe, it's just a game, mate. Let's just go out there and give it a go, mate.
It's just a game that the whole of your nation who's interested in cricket, which isn't that many people, will get annoyed about. Where do we go from here? How many do you think India will need to before they declare? They don't need any more, do they? Really?
Yeah, but I think I don't know if they're Okay, step back. You've got Joe Root, who, jokes aside, has proved in no uncertain manner over the past couple of months that he's probably one of the best players of spin around. So just because he's got out cheaply in one innings doesn't mean that he can't come in and show his team how to bat in the second. So I don't think India's going to take any chances in and we're third morning, right?
Right.
So it's not really a strap for time. It's not going to rain in Chennai. So
damn it, no rain.
And the pitch on the fifth day is probably not going to be any worse than the first. Let's face it. So
yes.
I would say they would try and get another 150 runs if they can. I suspect they might get all out well before that. But if they don't, I think that's what they'll go for before they declare.
Well, that would give them a 400 lead, and no one's going to get 400 on this pitch, are they? It'd be absolutely incredible if they did. Now, just a couple of things for housekeeping. If you're joining us this morning for the first time, don't forget the GPL. The GPL is a lot of fun. Sometimes people win it. I don't know if the Bears got the figure on what the GPL is today. We'll get him to come in on that, so he'll probably shout, whoa, 50 quid or something like that. But we're going to get underway. They're already out there, and we're going to open with spin. There's a surprise. It's going to be Moeen Ali. And I think he's going to be bowling to Rohit Sharma. There.
264.
And this man is bowling.
Our bed shouldn't touch. Move over, I'm low. I like it too much. Move over, I'm low. You're one hairy dish I love unconditionally. It's Moeen Ali.
Yes, indeed it is. I don't know where I stand with Moeen Ali. I mean, I think he bowled a lot of tripe in the first innings, picked up 4 wickets, 2 of them with decent balls. But this is a man who hasn't played first-class cricket for 16 months. It's a bit much to ask him to come out and spin all over the place. In India, this is the first ball. It does turn, keeps a little bit low. Rohit Sharma just tickles it away behind square and takes the 1. 55 for 1 is the score. Rohit moves on to 26. A little bit fortunate, I thought Rohit last night could have been out a couple of times. The missed stumping, it has a difficult chance, although he was miles down the pitch. I mean, he had hours to take the bails off if he could have got his hands where the ball was, Ben Folks. And then, of course,
but that was probably his only fault in the entire match so far. I mean, he's been brilliant behind the stumps.
Yes, he has, and he batted, I thought, really well. Just calmness personified, really, in a very difficult situation. Thought Ollie Pope batted really well, and I think that possibly was the crucial moment yesterday when he got out down the leg side. That brilliant catch by Rishabh Pant. Suddenly, Rishabh Pant has turned into a magnificent wicketkeeper.
He suddenly turned into a wicketkeeper.
Yes, indeed.
Much of India will tell you.
two absolutely stunning catches yesterday, making really good use of the webbing in his left glove. Here is Moeen into Pujara, and turns it down the leg side, taken by Folks, and there is, of course, no run because he's standing up to the wicket. £48 the GPL, and of course, the more money you put in that, the bigger it gets during the day. You go to guerrillacricket.com/competitions, estimate how many runs will be scored in the day. Moeen in again, flicked past short square leg, but there is man backing up at square leg. I think it was Jack Leach, and there is no run. So it remains 55 for 1. £48. You estimate how many runs do you think will be scored in the day, and you pay £1 for each guess that you have. You get it on the nose, you get the money. On to the back foot goes Pujara, just pushes back out into the covers. It's Moeen Ali who's going to go and do the fielding himself. Another beautiful sunny day, glistening off the head of Moeen Ali.
Like 26 degrees, so it's very pleasant.
Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? 26 degrees. In he comes, and Pujara uses his feet to get to the pitch of that ball, covers the spin, plays it into the onside, and there is no run. So £48 in the GPL to start with. Make sure you go there and have lots of fun with that.
It's supposed to be 15 degrees here next Saturday.
Good lord. Chips in the air. What happened there? That's extraordinary.
That's out.
It must come off the pad.
That's out. I think
It
that's
might be.
out.
It could be a run out. Actually, it was. It looked to me as if Pujara chipped the ball in the air off his pads to the man at short leg, but it wasn't a catch because he immediately.
No. He was run out or stumped one of them. I don't know what.
Yeah, well, he was being run out. I think he was thrown back by Ollie Pope.
Okay.
And I'm not sure whether it was a direct hit or whether folks took the bails off. And we've gone upstairs to see the umpire Anil Chaudhry. I think he's going to be okay. Oh no, he's out.
Oh, he's
and
out.
I tell you why he's out. Oh no, he's not. Yes, he is. Oh my God, is he out or is he not out? He's dropped his bat just short of the crease. It stuck in, and then he tried to get there by placing his foot and his glove over the wicket.
I think he's out.
Oh, that's an extraordinary dismissal if it is out. I wouldn't want to have to adjudicate on that one. I think
that's out.
Just out of the groove before he's got his foot and his glove down.
Unbelievable.
Wonderful stuff from Ollie Pope.
It's the most bizarre way of getting out, though.
Well, poor old Pujara is finding extraordinary ways to get himself dismissed in this series. Decision pending, but that's going to be out, isn't it? It is. He's run out in the first over in the most extraordinary circumstances. This is the thing with Pujara. He's so stickable that you have to find extraordinary ways of getting him out. And England have managed to do it first thing this morning. He came down the wicket. It came off the pad. I thought it came off the bat. It was nothing more than a reaction really from Pope to just hand it back off to Folkes from short leg. And as he put his bat down, it got stuck in the surface. And then he dropped it, and then had to get his hand and his foot over the line, but didn't get them down in time. Extraordinary stuff.
If I may, okay.
Go ahead.
The Bears one is on. Yeah.
Oh, he's going to play the jingle.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say that it's more extraordinary that we've just. I was just watching the replay. So Ollie Pope it goes off his pad. Ollie Pope gets the ball. He sort of throws it basketball style at Ben Folkes. Ben Folkes catches it, and he's just leaning against the wicket. I'm not even sure he's trying to take the bails off. He's leaning against the wicket, and the bails go off, and Pujara's foot is above the line. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It is. I think you have to see that in. Hopefully, there'll be some good press photographs of that one, because that's an extraordinary one from side on. Really is.
This is what P.G. Woodhouse was described as concatenation of circumstances.
Concatenation, blimey! I wouldn't have known that. I've never read any P.G. Woodhouse, but that's good to know. Virat Kohli comes to the crease. That was the final ball of the over, the first over. Pujara's gone for 7, by the way, but it does mean that Rohit and Kohli are out there, which isn't the kind of partnership that England would want to be out there for too long. Otherwise, the runs will come very quickly, you would think. Jack Leach is going to open the bowling as well, so it's an all-spin attack. Why did they bother with Stuart Broad in this match? He hasn't actually done anything, has he? Anyway,
he's just standing there getting angry.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have the jingle.
It's Jack Leach. Now coming up is Jack Leach. Oh, Jack Leach.
I can tell you that 2 balls have passed during that jingle, and no runs were scored. Defensive shots were played, and so I didn't want to interrupt the jingle. It's such a pleasant song. We should come to your tweets very shortly. Nestle Boy has been primed. He's just can't wait. Leach in. He comes down the wicket and edges. Ben Stokes dives to his right and grabs it with his right hand. We're going to see the Pujara dismissal from the other side now. It's extraordinary. That's very unlucky. Really is. I mentioned he's been going through all his exercises this morning. He'll probably had a net, and then you get out there and that happens.
Watch his hands.
It's a grasping, desperate effort to get back. This is turned into the onside by Rohit Sharma, and there is no run.
Sharp thinking by Pope though, because your natural reaction for the catch is to pause slightly. He's like, you know,
he was a live shot,
Sharp.
wasn't he? Leach in again, looking around about leg stump, turned to mid wicket. Just hint of a leading edge there of it, as if the ball straightened just a little bit, perhaps. We will come to your tweets at the end of this over, but it's very hard to get tweets in when you've got two spinners operating.
We'll do it, Hendo, we'll do it.
We can manage. One ball remaining in the over. He's in, bowls, straightens again, defended it into the onside, and there is no run. Nestle Boy, who's joined us this morning?
Mog has joined us, says hello. Message S says morning all. Are we in the infamous Wimbledon, Essex, Singapore triangle where all insults fall on deaf ears and love of cricket conquers all? Yes, we are. Suman Nag is with us. Guys, are you ready to kick the Monday blues with a Rohit 100 today?
What? Steady on, man.
And Old Fart at Play says, can you say hi to Jackie? She is the best. She sent me roses. Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
Whoever you are.
Is this Ed Stewpot Stewart suddenly? We turned into Radio 2. FM.
Yeah, there's... Mog says that was a novel dismissal.
It was indeed.
My Ank says,
write a novel about it.
Great start for England, not that it will matter much.
No, we could have done with that. I don't know, to happen to someone like Rohit Sharma early in the first innings.
And can I just
it's no good, the cricket. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, just a quick shout out to my friend Mary Beth Greeley, who is joining us from Apex in North Carolina.
Wow. Moeen Ali starts a new over. He's bowling his first ball to Virat Kohli, who we should jingle up, of course, very shortly. But it's hard between balls. It's a good jingle, and you need a bit of time. So maybe we should leave it to the end of the over, in case something exciting happens in between.
I don't know how you were managing when Akshar Patel was bowling, though.
Now that turns and hits him in the gob. Jumps on him a little bit. Probably actually it was in the chest, but so he gets through his overs even quicker.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's very quick, isn't he? He just turns and he bowls probably when the batsman's not ready. That's cheating. Thrown up again, defended by Kohli back up the onside of the pitch, and there is no run. In fact, we haven't had a run this morning, have we? Oh, we had one. 55 for 2. Kohli has found himself out there a little earlier than he expected. As Moeen is in, and he's going to go back to that one. Oh my goodness me, he's tried to pull it, and he's got into position well enough. The ball's kept low, then turned, hit the inside of his left leg, and then could have easily bounced down onto his stumps. But goodness me, it was a rank ball. It should have been hit.
Yeah.
By all known measures. Onto the front foot comes Kohli. Kohli be thinking, I'm on a pair here. I've got to be a bit careful. I saw
the same bowler.
Yes, exactly, to the same bowler who's actually bowled filth most of the day. Talking of bowling filth, you will find there are some brilliant new Guerrilla Cricket T-shirts and various other things available. You can get all the designs on various different types of merchandise. Onto the front foot comes Kohli, defends. That is the end of the over. I'll come back to that. Let's do the Kohli jingle, shall we? Should we do the Kohli jingle? There's asleep. There's vaping.
It says signals that they'll knock us on our ass. The pitches are prepared without a sign of grass. The score is mounting quickly and they've got a talking lead. We don't mind the challenge, it's the beat we don't need. He lets loose all his shots when the bowlers are fatigued. And we wait to find the match instead, and our doom is Virat. And Davey Warner rides around and says, Kohli's the cat, Kohli's the cat.
What a great jingle that is.
Yeah, I love that.
Superb. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. And of course, you'll find it on one of our amazing news stories that is in our new news and opinion section. You can read wonderful things by Nindo the other day, for example. You can read wonderful things by me occasionally. Leach in bowls. Oh, he's gone past the outside edge, and the bails have been taken off by folks. He's gone running up the pitch as if to say, I know that's out. It doesn't matter what you think. I know that's out. And so Rohit is just standing there and sort of thinking, well, what happened there? Decision is pending on the Country Delight screen. I'm not sure what Country Delight is. It looks like it could be some sort of butter or margarine.
Yeah,
It is
butter and bicycles. They're advertising on.
It makes a change from concrete.
Actually,
Now,
agarbatti
here
is
we go.
incense sticks.
Oh, I don't know. You can
I
give
see.
that. You can't give that, can you?
No.
I don't think you can. I think he's survived.
This is the third time for Rohit.
Mm.
Exactly the same place, right? Almost.
Oh, from that position. Oh, from that angle.
That's out.
Ooh, from that angle, it's out. From the other
I
angle,
would
it's
say-
not out.
Yeah, I would say that might be out. Yeah.
Oh, well, folks was absolutely convinced. Maybe we need to see it from the stump cam. That would give us an even better idea. He's just starting to move it back, but has he got a little bit of?
very tight.
You can just see the little bit of bits of orange on the sort of edge of his trainer, and I'm not sure whether one of those bits of orange has just got back or not. It's a very tight call. I mean, it could go either way, this one, which shows how difficult it is for on-field umpires to have given
That
that in real
angle-
time.
Even then, the bail's not off, but that's a
The
really
lip.
tough one. Really tough one.
Well, here comes the Country Delight decision pending review, and it's given out. And what a start this is for England. The game's going to be over today. India are 55 for 3. Rohit has gone. He had a little bit of luck yesterday. He's wandering off rather miserably, I have to say. He's not entirely impressed with that decision, I don't think. But it exploded out of the good length area of the pitch as he came forward, beat him, and Folks has got a stumping. And I have to say, I don't know whether Joss would have got that.
Do you know what? Great minds think alike. I was just about to say, Wood Butler would have done that.
That was excellent wicket keeping.
Your history, no good for me. Your history, nah, 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 nah.
You know, India just can't bat on these kind of wickets, can they? You know.
No, it's terrible, isn't it? Absolutely. Oh, well, talking of people who can't bat on this wicket, now we find out what this is all about, because coming to the wicket is none other than Rishabh Pant.
Well, I think the intent's very clear. There's no point in hanging around here on this pitch, and they want to put on as many runs as possible by attacking the spinners.
It's looking that way,
which is
because who's he coming ahead of? I'm trying to think.
Rahane.
Rahane, of course. Yes, absolutely. So he's in ahead of Rahane, who of course got some runs in the first innings.
And
but
the
they've
right-left combination.
got right-left combination, and yeah, maybe they want to get some quick runs. That's certainly what this would suggest. He's going to.
Well, hanging around means that they're probably going to be all-out run-out. So
I think it would be quite fun if Rishabh Pant decides to play very defensively. Very watchful. So he's exploding out here. I've just got a high left elbow. And anyway, so let's see what he can do against Jack Leach. Jack Leach presumably will come over the wicket to the left-hander. Great to see him getting another wicket. Well done, Jack Leach. He's turning into a good bowler, but it was interesting to look at his figures. I think he's only got 12 wickets at home and something like, was it 31 or 41 away? Probably because he gets so little chance to bowl at home, and that says something about the way spinning as an art is considered in England these days.
Yeah.
You know, also he's, apart from playing in Sri Lanka, he pretty much had a year without any cricket. He's actually beginning to come back into his own, which is great to see.
he was unwell as well, right?
And he was very ill last year, in New Zealand and then in South Africa, Oh, he's going to stay round the wicket and punches down the wicket. And it skews off an outside edge. Moeen Ali finally appears in the picture, coming in from deep cover. But it's not looking easy to bat, even for these Indian players. And actually, England have bowled quite well so far this morning.
Indeed. Leach has been very, very good.
Leach has been good. Moeen Ali hasn't bowled too many 4 balls today.
Yeah.
In fact, none, because we haven't had it before. Just looking at Rohit's shoulder when he was given out. This is one a bit flatter and a bit straighter. Kohli forces into the offside, a packed offside field now. And there is no run. Extraordinary career already for Rishabh Pant. He's a freak, man. He's a total freak. Here comes Leach again. Oh, now, as that's defended down to the ground, Folks reached out to his right and threatened to bring the ball back onto the stumps should Virat Kohli overbalance. So he's very alert, is Ben Folks, at the moment. Leach in again, and Kohli still to get off the mark, has to defend on the front foot. So it's one of the greatest batsmen in the game today out there is struggling to get going. It's not so much getting the pace of this pitch because you just don't know what the odd ball might do. Leach in again, bowls onto the back foot he goes, defends into the covers, and that is the end of a successful over. India are 56 for 3. They started on 54 for 1. 2 wickets have gone down for 2 runs. Nestlers.
Yeah, Messi just says Virat has never had a test pair. It would be ironic if he managed it in a match. India win by a country mile. The Jersey Jingler's with us. Anything can happen in test cricket. I mean, probably not, but a lad can dream, can't he? Day off tomorrow, so I'm trying to stay awake as long as I can. Suman Nug asked, do England have a chance to win this match? Outside chance. No, not really. Mayank says both these wickets, nothing to do with the pitch, of course. Shuriso Dasgupta says, I now want to watch Pant deliver a masterclass in defensive batting.
Yes, that's what we all
not today. Not today.
We yearn to see it.
Ain't gonna happen. PJ Mead says, morning gorillas, I really don't want to be up at this time, but at least I have you and the cricket.
You have us and we have you.
Messi Jess with a great stat.
Go on.
Folks now has twice as many stumpings in this match as Butler has achieved in 50 tests.
Yeah, well, Butler got his first stumping in Sri Lanka, didn't he, not so long ago? This is defended by Hunt to the man at short leg.
There you have it. His defence for the day.
That is it. That is it. Now we can we'll wait for the big hoik over. Long on could be the next one. He's got to be really on the ball here, Mo, and he can't bowl any rubbish. And he immediately bowls rubbish, which he gets a top edge to. It was a full toss. He swept. Top edge sweep. Broad is after it from square leg. They should get back for 2. That might just be enough to get Punt going.
I think
and India moved 58 for 3.
Is my current favourite cricketer.
Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's... well, I remember Nakul and I were talking about how he should be in the... we were looking forward to him being in the squad last time India came over. And he ended up getting 100, didn't he? He is freakish in his ability and his confidence to hit sixes even when people are out on the boundary. In again, bowls. He has to get right forward to this one. He's looking to pitch it around about leg stump and turn it across the left-handed batsman. But he smothers the spin there. This has been better so far from Moeen. But, better late than never, I suppose. Here he is again. Just a slip and a short leg. And he goes back to that one, watches it turn, and then they think about a run. And Rishabh Pant comes some of the way. Kohli eventually says no, and he has to scurry back. But England are bowling much better this morning, and I would have to say, one of those tweets I went through said it had nothing to do with the pitch. I don't agree. Obviously the run out had nothing to do with the pitch, but I think the second wicket did because it exploded out of a good length and beat Rohit by miles. So I think you can notch that one down to the pitch. Also the skillful bowling and the skillful wicket keeping. So I do feel like when England get into bat, the 36 could be in danger. Anyway, Moeen into his 10th over. Look at those figures. None for 22 off 10 overs. Could have done with this in the first innings, Moeen, but I understand why you're a little bit
he
busted.
did take 4 wickets.
He did take 4 wickets, but I mean, 2 of them were fortunate. One of them was a brilliant ball. That's defended into the offside. There is no run. It's an interesting point, Indo. You actually look back to his last performance in India, and he took 10 wickets on that tour as this one turns, forcing Rishabh Pant to go back and clip it to short leg. He took 10 wickets, but I think they were at 62
something.
Yeah, which is makes it a little bit difficult for you to win matches. That's the end of the over. Anyway, Folks has raced down the other end. He's very sprightly this morning. And Jack Leach will continue. More jingles, more tweets even.
More jingles indeed. I'll just give some hellos on Cricket Tracker India.
Yep.
Ashu Tiwari, Prashant Chorisia, Sumatra Samuel, Raja S. Naik, Nazir Ahmadi, Suman Kumar, Chitta Ranjan, Panchu Kunwar, Baldeep Doodi, Raju Kumar, Billabay and Rinku Tak. Good morning to you all.
Good morning indeed. Great to have you along, and hope you're enjoying our coverage of this Test match. Leach bowls to Kohli. Kohli drives, looking for a first run. Won't get it. There's a man at short extra, and then there's a man a little bit squarer and a little bit deeper.
Does England have more than 11 fielders out there? Because there seem to be like 22 on the offside.
They do seem to be a lot of them, don't they? Absolutely. This is unusual for England. Leach in again, throws it up on leg stump and whipped to Moeen Ali, but Kohli now has faced 12 balls. He'll be getting a little bit irritable, which is good for England. Frustrate him a tad. That would be handy. He's still looking to score. We're looking at Ben Stokes practicing this morning, and here
Is he
comes
practicing his
Leach again.
off spin?
It looked like it. Was that Jack Leach? No, it must have been. Good point, actually. That must have been Moeen. We didn't see the bowler, and it was turning into the wicketkeeper. Very good point. Anyway, that's it is Leach now, and he's in. Bowls to Kohli. Kohli gets right forward, plays it to a man at silly point. So we've got a man on the offside, short, but we've got no catchers on the onside at the moment. And there is a slip as well. Looking at folks going through his exercises. Oh, lovely ball from Leach. Turns it past the outside edge. Perfect length, really. Brought him forward. Folks is on fire behind the stumps. He's taking the bail.
Totally is,
yeah.
right? His reactions are...
I know. He's really fired up, isn't he? That was a beautiful ball. You're not going to play that very easily. And there is no run. Leach in again, bowls to Kohli. Kohli goes back. Is he going to get a run this time? Don't think so. Moeen moves to his left at square leg, and it's a maiden from Leach. So England turning the screw. India 58 for 3. More tweets.
More tweets. Just one. It's
Just the one. Where are you? Where are they all?
They're asleep, mate. Mayank says, if India can get to 140, 150, I reckon there's no point in batting more, and they should just clean England up before the end of the day. Well, I think the Bear would like that, so he doesn't have to come in tomorrow.
Well, I'm not in tomorrow, so I don't care. I think it'll be quite funny. I think it's quite funny. I mean, that Tony has to get up for about 5 overs, and that would entertain me a little bit, because I'm cruel like that.
You're a nasty man.
I am a nasty man. I really am.
He'd sit there looking at his magpie.
Man, do not separate a man from his magpie.
Indeed.
Luigi. Onto the back foot goes punt. He's going to get a run. He's going to have to hurry, actually, because he was rather jogging it. And suddenly realised that the man at cover was coming in. Maybe Kohli alerted him to the fact that he ought to get a shift on. And runs the last 10 yards significantly quicker than the first 10 yards.
The other thing I really like about Pan, and I mean this in the best possible way, is there is an element of village about him as well, don't you think?
I know what you mean.
You know, you sort of watch him and think anything can happen here.
Yeah.
He doesn't
care. I mean, he's just going to...
Oh, turned down the leg side. A very good take by Folks. He doesn't actually seem to move his body at all, or even his feet. He just sticks out his hands and grabs it perfectly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that wicket keeping, is there? That is exceptionally good.
To be perfectly accurate, no one's turning anything down the leg stump except the pitch.
No, that's true.
The ball's just going.
This is flicked to the man at back of square leg. It's an absolutely packed leg side field for Kohli. I wish they'd come back just for a few moments so I could describe it to you, but there are 6 men saving the single and catching on the onside. He's in again, bowls to Kohli. Kohli turns and he wants to run, but he won't get it because Jack Leach is one of those men at square leg, and he gets in swiftly. So India remain 59 for 3. Something is going to give. Kohli has now faced 19 balls without getting off the mark. There's a short mid-wicket, there's a mid-wicket a bit further back, there's a short leg, there's a backward square leg. He goes back to that, he's going to get a run, he's going to get a run! Something is given. Jack Leach is off in pursuit, he got it fine enough that Leach had to go after that, and he's back for a comfortable 2. India moved to 61 for 3. That might be a bit of a relief for the Indian captain, who was on a pair.
And Pujara's record is not in danger anymore.
What was his
time to get to 1?
I remember watching that. I think I watched that game. I can't remember who it was against.
I think it was Australia.
Was it Australia? It went on forever, didn't it?
Yeah.
He batted for something like 50 odd balls before he got a run or something. I can't remember the exact stats. You might be able to tell us. Forward comes Kohli to Moeen Ali, and that is the end of the over. 3 runs from it. Punt has 4. Kohli has 2. India are 61 for 3. More tweets from you, Nestle.
Oh, hang on. Yeah.
One just coming through.
Mog says Nigel Henderson, noted bastard.
Noted bastard, absolutely.
You're a noted bastard, you are.
Noted.
Oh, Diana Craddock has joined us on YouTube. Says, good morning, everyone, from Sierra de la Sneeves in Andalusia. Oh, Diana, not far from my sister, who's currently who's in Alcacin, that part of the world, and keeps sending me lovely pictures.
How are the dogs?
Oh, they're the dogs, aren't they?
They are the dogs.
They just go for runs and things.
Ah, lovely dogs. Are we going to have a change of bowling here? No, I don't think so. But Ben Stokes has come up to Jack Leach along with Joe Root to offer some sort of advice. Don't know what it is.
So do we know if there are 11 people on the offside and 6 on the on? That's what it seems like.
If you put a lot of people on the onside, maybe the umpires don't look to the offside, so you can just sneak in a couple of extra fielders. Well, it does feel like that at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even Rishabh Pant has only got 4 off 8. I mean, that's only 50 runs per 100 balls. What's he playing at? Absolute nonsense. It really
And he's
is.
defended two of them, I think.
Yes, he's defended some balls. I mean, we don't come here to expect to see Rishabh Pant playing that way. Absolutely ridiculous. So Leach rubs his hands in the dust, and there's plenty of it on this pitch. He's going to continue to bowl to Rishabh Pant. Is he going to come back over the wicket, or is he going to stay round the wicket to the left-hander? We shall see. Chris Silverwood's looking a little less glum than he was yesterday. He'll be looking glum later today, no doubt. But at the moment, things are going quite well for England. As we look around the ground, don't know how many people are in today. It's presumably a work day, so fewer than I think it was 14,000 they were saying over the weekend. That's great though if you can get fans back into the grounds.
Yeah.
And you can have a test starting on a Saturday and a Sunday. I think that's wonderful. Here is Leach. He's over the wicket to Punt. Punt goes back, plays it past Pope at short leg. Rory Burns, the pirate, runs round to his left, and there is no run. Of course, which is that phrase is on one of our T-shirts now. You can go and have a look at our T-shirts. Go to our website, GorillaCricket.com, find the shop on the front page, and then go and have a look at them. Swept by Rishabh Pant, but he's got a little bit lucky there. I think it hit the back of his glove. The timing wasn't there, and it's run off the glove. Very fine indeed for a rather fortuitous boundary.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
So, I think that is the first 4 of the morning.
Yeah. I was just thinking of something about the crowds which you were talking about. This might be a new psychological ploy. You tell people they cannot go to watch Test cricket by creating a pandemic, and then they go to watch Test cricket.
You found out the whole pandemic was planned by the cricket authorities. Great move by the people in India to get people back to Test cricket, or any form of cricket, I suppose. But absolutely,
Yeah.
yes, that's it. You can't go. You're not. That's what we should say to everyone around. We should just send letters out to every household in Britain saying you are not allowed to go to the Test match at Lord's this Thursday, and then see what happens. Anyway, here comes Leach to bowl again to Rishabh. He's got a man now who's gone on the 45, slip forward short leg and mid wicket. There's no one saving the single really on the offside, and he's stumped by an absolute mile. He came down the wicket. He spun as he does, trying to hit that over long on, and Ben Foakes on this occasion makes no mistake, and India are subsiding on this absolute demon of a pitch. They're 65 for 4 and Leach has 3. To be fair, he was lucky not to be bowled. He tried to play that. He's gone down the wicket. He's put everything into it, and he's out by an absolute mile. Well, folks, it's just too quick for him, and he's been on fire this morning. 2 stumpings in the morning. 2 stumpings in cricket in the first 5 or 6 overs of the morning. It's unheard of. We are seeing new things happening in the firmament of Test cricket. And so that didn't really work for India. And Ajinkya Rahane is on his way. He's got a jingle that goes like this.
Ajinkya Rahane, you're fat, and everybody comes running. Take a run, get down the other end. Ajinkya Rahane, quick 50. Ajinkya Rahane, and then out.
So what have we had this morning? We've had 11 runs and 3 wickets, and Leach has taken 2 of them, and there's been a comedy run out. What more could you ask for? And if you haven't got up in time, well, serves you right. You should have been here at the beginning with us.
Yeah.
Some of us got out of bed at 5 minutes past 3 this morning to bring you this, And if you weren't here for the wickets, don't blame us. Rahane is just doing a few little exercises, going down on his haunches, then a little bit of running on the spot. And he batted very well in the first innings, didn't he? A very nice 67. In partnership with Rowett, they put on something like 162, I think it was, and that was probably the crucial partnership of the match. But let's see what he can do now.
He's got a nice face, hasn't he?
He's got a lovely face.
He looks like a nice man. I don't know him.
I think he is. From everything that I know, he is.
Yeah.
Seems like a very nice man. He's going to face Leach, though, and Leach can't afford to have those sort of sentiments. He's just got to get rid of him. He's got 3 men round the bat, and he's in, and he bowls. Oh, now that did turn again, but he smothered it, and the ball ran out into the onside, and there is no run. We will be having a change at the end of this over. I'm hoping that Avi has arrived. Anyone see Avi? Yes, he's here. So he can talk about what's going on with India this morning. As Leach is in again. Oh, he wasn't sure whether to go back, whether to come forward. Took a half pace in the end and was beaten by that. This game has to be over today, doesn't it? On the basis of what we've seen this morning. It's turning square, it's bouncing, it's doing all sorts of things. Leach is in again. Oh, he went back to that one. Has he been caught? Has he been caught, or has that just dropped short of Broad? I don't know. Broad is sort of standing there. Was it Broad? Maybe it wasn't Broad.
Yes,
maybe it was Lawrence. Was it? No, it's Lawrence, isn't it?
Lawrence?
Was it
Dolly Pope, isn't it?
I can't tell who it is.
Dolly Pope.
Those bloody
They all
sunglasses
look
off,
the
man.
same.
They all look the same, us English people.
Who is that bloody weirdo?
Oh, hang on, what's happened here? He thought it was coming, and it seemed to sort of just dip on him at the last moment. But it was uppish, and Leach was entitled to think that was going to be a 4th wicket of the morning, but no, it wasn't. Anyway, actually, I think it's Ollie Stone. Finally identified the mystery England fielder. He's quite a tall man, not quite as skinny as Broad. But it takes a while to get familiar with new players in the England team.
That's the end of the over.
That's the end of the over. All right.
Goodbye.
Okay. Well, I'll invite Avi to take over, and I'll see you in a little while. Goodbye.
Yep. See you in a while.
See ya.
See you in a while. And I'll say hello to Avi and Jack.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, Moen. Jack Leach, Ben Folkes. Well, Moen's first ball is defended on the front foot by Virat Kohli. Just squirts out on the offside, no run. What a start. Ben Folkes is on fire here, isn't he?
Absolutely. It's a bit crazy. Are you coming along, Jack? Jack, are you there? This is my first day on this test match, and I've got a lot of ranting to do.
Actually, the next ball from Moen is sort of flighted a bit more. Kohli tries to drive it, but he won't beat mid-on, no run. What are you going to rant about?
Myself. Sorry.
Well, what do you think I'm going to rant about, Avi? What do you think I'm going to rant about?
The next ball for short from Moen. It's pulled hard by Virat Kohli, but there is about 20 people on the onside as been discussed earlier, so he won't beat that sort of infield. No run there. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to hearing this rant.
Well, I need to have a rant with when Anindo's on here, because we were having a little ruckus on WhatsApp yesterday. It was all very polite and stuff.
Another shorter delivery by Moeen Ali, and Virat Kohli gets onto the back foot and just paddles it behind square, and it goes away for one of these.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Well, the first thing I'd like to rant about is the bloody umpiring decisions in this game, actually.
Couple of bad ones, but I mean...
Well, I mean, that one... I mean, particularly the one yesterday when the umpire said that Rohit played a shot.
I mean, that was one poor... But I think the protocol is that you can't... Once he says that, you can't...
well, there was a lot of argument about...
Can't overrule that anyway. So
I think there was a lot of talk about that on Twitter, and the third umpire could have made a decision.
He could have, could he? Okay.
Yeah.
As this was flighted by Moeen Ali, Virat Kohli tries to drive, no run there.
But if someone can clear that up. But I mean, how the hell he thought... I mean, what the umpire was actually thinking he was playing a shot. I mean, his bat was right behind his leg. It was a joke, really.
Deceived by the 2 paces coming down. But I mean, the game is not decided by that decision in the second.
No, and as it's turned out, it hasn't caused us any runs this morning. But I mean, it's kind of things like that, because you lose a decision, and it was just a rank
As a better devices delivery by Moeen Ali completes the 27th over. Kohli could only defend it onto the leg side. No run there. India 69-4.
And England clearly wouldn't have reviewed it if he'd have been playing a shot. They wouldn't have reviewed it because it hit miles outside the off stump.
Because Tim Payne in Australia, almost before every review for LBW against Pujara, where Pujara was doing similar sort of things, would confirm with the on-field standing umpire whether he'd played a shot or not, and then decide whether to review.
Yeah, I think that was.
And I
think that was wrong.
Well, I thought that was still quite clever though by Payne, and it meant he didn't burn reviews for nothing.
That isn't the official process. I think that was Australians cheating on that occasion. I'm just going to run through some tweets quickly, then we can go back to it. Messages, stats update. Folks now has 3 times as many stumpings as Buttler has achieved in 50 tests. Morg is laying into TMS for not being awake. Pants stumping looks a bit village according to PJ Mead, and messages again. It's 1600 days since Virat Kohli was last dismissed twice in one test in single figures.
And Jack Leach's first ball is cut by Rahane on the back foot, but he gets a very thick inside edge, and that squirts out on the leg side, and there's a run. There's 2 slips on the gully, or sorry, a short leg maybe. A silly point for Jack Leach, who's bowled well this morning actually. He's bowled well.
Could you try again?
Oh, and that's my Siri going off.
What does it want to know?
So Jack Leach has bowled very, very well this morning, I felt, and he's in towards the crease now, flighted up, and it's driven by Kohli. He won't beat the Pat's offside field, no run there.
Listen, I reckon on this pitch I could bowl well.
Yes, I think you could. I think you could bowl well.
I think there's enough assistance here for any muppety spinner to get wickets.
As the next ball from Leach doesn't actually turn that much. It's a fuller ball, and it's defended on the front foot by Kohli. No run there. I was going to say, is one of your rants going to be about the pitch?
Oh, it totally bloody is, mate.
As it's another flighted delivery, and this time Kohli does manage to beat the infield. He drove through the covers on the up. He's going to slow down as it reaches the rope, so it's going to be dragged back in by Stone, and they'll run 3 there.
I know a lot of Indians, and I was having this chat with an Indo yesterday, and it's like, well, what do you expect? Well, I don't not expect the pitch to turn. I think that is totally legit. And his argument was, and I kind of understand this, is that you don't get any seam movement in India, and therefore for a pitch to be a home pitch, essentially, it has to turn. I get that. I do get that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't think anyone in England expected it not to end up being Bunsen burners on most of the pitches we played on.
As the next ball from Leach is swept by Rahane. He doesn't get any sort of decent contact on it, but he will get a single as it squirts out behind square on the leg side. So I think, listen, last time England toured, they didn't get any Bunsen burners. South Africa got burners, New Zealand had been given burners, I think Australia got a couple when they came. I think England were due one, personally, and it's how they handle themselves on it.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I don't. As I said, I don't really mind it. But there's got to be some point in the game where it's not a Bunsen burner, and there just hasn't at this.
Why does it have? Why does there have to be a point where it isn't?
Because to a certain degree,
it didn't deteriorate that much from day 2 to day 1. It was all.
But that's my point. It was a 4/5 day wicket from day 1.
Both teams, so you got.
Yeah, it is. I know, I get that, but I mean, it's also it to a certain degree.
Sorry, it's the last ball from Rahane is defended, and there'll be by Cody Robert. There'll be no run there. It's the end of the 28th over. India 74 for 4.
Just going to interrupt again for a few tweets, if you don't mind, fellas. Jamie Cook joining the Buttler War, or the Buttler Folks War. Not really a fair comparison, considering Buttler is only kept in Asia. With reference to the stat about folks' stumpings. Suman Nag on umpiring, past is past, folks. These things happen in every cricket match, which I think is probably fair enough on the umpiring point.
True, but there have been other instances, and they're twice. So one in the last test and one in this test again, where the third umpire hasn't rolled on for decisions, and that's kind of irritated me. That the Rahane possible catch off the glove in the first innings. I mean, it didn't make any difference. He was out, next over bowled.
As Moeen Ali flights one, and Rahane gets the front pad right out there, outside the box stump. No run there.
That was playing a shot. See, that was next to the pad.
Probably didn't take as many steps down as Rohit. But I'm not going to argue that Rohit played a shot. I mean, it was an umpiring mistake.
Yeah, and
it happens.
I mean, that's yeah. I mean, there was one in the last test as well.
And Rahane comes down the pitch for Moeen Ali's next ball. He's impressed me with his feet movement in this test. Rahane, he's often criticised for coming back to almost everything, so he's been willing to go forward a lot in this test, and rewards have been due from that. No run there though, as he just knocks it out onto the offside. The next ball from Moeen Ali is gone on the back foot by Rahane. Probably the wrong place to go. Probably should have gone forward. Again, he tries to cut. There's too much turn there, and he won't get that cut away. No run.
And I actually think that where India have been more successful in England on this wicket is that, and I pointed this out in the last test, I think the way the Indians like to play spin more is to come down to the ball. Oh, that's it.
As a full toss, it's the next ball from Moeen. It's a horrible, horrible ball, and it's dispatched by Ajinkya Rahane through the covers for one of these.
Mate, you're bowling filth, mate, disgusting. Mate, you're bowling filth.
And that's been one of the other big differences in this test match.
Sorry?
That's been one of the other big differences in this test match. It's been that just the bad balls, really, rather than the good balls. I think all the spinners are going to bowl good balls, but it's a number of bad balls that the English spinners have bowled.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all know that India's especially...
And the next ball is short from Moeen Ali after the full bunger, and Rahane easily this time can go on the back foot and pull, and he pulls hard through square, and the ball races for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the class spinner in this test is Ravi Ashwin. I think Leach bowled pretty well.
I was going to say Axel as well has not bowled many bad balls. He probably hasn't bowled as many good balls as Ravi Ashwin, but he hasn't really given too much away, which has been good. And the next ball, Rahane comes down track 4. It was pushed out a little bit wider from Moeen Ali. A bit clever bowling, and we thought folks might get involved again for a stumping, but Rahane manages just about to get a bit of pad on that. That is the end of the 29th over. India 82 for 4, the lead 177, which probably is enough.
Yeah, more than enough.
Probably. We've got a tweet in from Mike Wood. George DeBell wrote on Cricket Info this morning about the pitch being the worst for batting since India at Lords in 2018, a game that lasted 170 overs. Can we remember a worse contest between bat and ball than this, especially in favour of the ball? I actually looked up, I saw some stuff about that test at Lords. And for a match in England, the ball did not move as much as people remember. I think that one's seared into the minds of Indian fans. But
I thought this wasn't the Ireland game where the Ireland got skittled and England got skittled.
No, this was the year before when Chris Woke scored a century and England won by an innings.
And India picked Kuldeep when it was rained and it rained the whole first day, I think.
India picked a bad side, but it actually, for a test in England, it moved a reasonable amount, but not. It wasn't the worst they've got data for. Yeah, CricViz anyway.
If I remember that, India got just bad partly conditions. I think it rained all of day one. Did they even have a toss? And then when England got to bat, the sun came out, and then it started raining again by the time it got fast again by the time India had to bat again. Leach is to the crease. He bowls with a nice flight there, good length, and Kohli defends on the front foot. The ball squirts out into gully, and no run there.
I mean, I think the problem with this pitch is that England are basically bowling with one bowler here. I mean, Moeen Ali has bowled terribly in this innings, and India are still 82 for 4 and not really going anywhere.
He started off the day okay.
What went through their head when they saw that pitch and didn't pick the third spinner? I think Moeen Ali could have done a job as a third spinner. Bess, Leach and Ali would have been a much more balanced attack on this pitch.
Yeah, they're worried about the batting then, though, aren't they? Well, I suppose
you can't worry about the batting, can you? And the ball squirts. A foolish ball from Moeen Ali. Squirts out in the air. Hastily point. There won't be a run there. It might have even been a chance of a catch here. We'll see this on a replay now. Front foot from Kohli, stretching for it, and it does. Yep, it just beats Silly Point round sort of shoulder height. He was sort of crouching. No run though, and the next ball is defended on the front foot by Virat Kohli.
Now my point is that the way the Indian players play spin differently to England. I think, is that after this ball.
As the next ball is pushed wider by Jack Leach, left alone by Kohli as it spins away from his bat and into the lovely hands of Stokes. No run.
So England players have learnt to play the sweep really well, and we've seen that in tests in Sri Lanka in the first test here.
As the next ball is played with very soft hands by Virat Kohli, he lets the ball sort of just turn into and it's a comedy fielding from Stone as the ball is played through that sort of third man region, through that sort of wide gully. Stone tried to dive to pick it up, he made an absolute mess of it, and the ball rolls and trickles to the boundary for one of these.
That's poor fielding. But Indian batsmen are much more prepared to come down the track, and I think on a wicket that's turning as much as it is, if you get to the pitch of the ball, you don't give it really a chance to spin.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exposed that sweep really a little bit. Although Rohit did sweep well, but that was after coming down the track. The last ball off the 30th over by Jack Leach is a fuller ball on that sort of 4-stump line. Virat Kohli defends on the front foot. That's the end of the 30th over. And yeah, 86 for 4. Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you on the way England have played sort of front creep. But Dan Lawrence actually did use his feet a little bit. He was sort of coming up and down the track. Hope as well, and Stokes to an extent. But the rest sort of played a lot from their crease, looking to sweep rather than come down.
Exactly. But and the sweep becomes dangerous because obviously it's taking massive chunks out of the pitch, and therefore the bounce is very variable. Therefore the sweep becomes more dangerous. Therefore coming down the track and meeting the ball and playing with a straight bat kind of makes sense. And if you do that, then it's going to change the bowler's length, and then you're going to get your sweep shots. And that's where India
go on that back foot and then play that cut shot.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where
that bowler to drop it down a little bit. This was full by Moeen Ali. Rahane drives, but will not beat that short extra cover, and there'll be no run there.
And whilst they did that in the first test, the pitch wasn't as capricious, obviously, and so England got away with more sweeps, I think.
Exactly. Forward defence from Rahane for Moeen Ali's next ball, and no run there.
And that's where when I criticise the pitch, I mean, if it's playing like today on day 3, I think that's kind of fair enough, really, in India. But I don't like the fact that it was just taking chunks out of the pitch from the work on day 1. I think that's a bit, I mean, it's going to be what, 3.5 day test, and there's pretty much no chance this going 5 days, even if you had the best sides in the world, I reckon.
No, absolutely. He's not going to go 5 days, but it wasn't impossible. It wasn't impossible to bat on the second day. And so the next ball takes the pad, the bat of Rahane, then goes up in the air, loops up in the air, and the forward short leg dives. Who is that there? Pope, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's Pope.
Takes the catch, and that is the end of Rahane's skittish innings of 14 balls. He's gone for 10. India 86 for 5, and we'll have a jingle for that.
I mean,
that was lovely drift from Moeen Ali. He sort of drifted, and Rahane did come down the track to try and meet it. He didn't get a good contact on it, and that's why he squeezed it between the bat and the pad, and then it looped up. So it was good bowling by Moeen. And that's the one danger of when you do come down the track and play that defensive shot. If you don't get there, you do get a lot of bat pads.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, This game could well be over today. I mean, when England come out, unless someone gets bloody lucky. And I think Pant had the right idea. I think the only thing you can really do is try and attack, because there's one with your name on it pretty damn quick out here. Which is, that's why I go back to, it's almost not really a fair contest between bat and ball. And the difference between the two sides will be Rohit Sharma, much like Root was the difference between the two sides in the first test.
Yeah, and I think as what I kind of said sort of on social media after that first innings was that once you get 4 completed innings, you'll see the context of that Rohit Sharma's innings. Really, it was worth a 300 almost. It's the easily best innings of his career, the most sort of substantial innings of substance that he's played. Probably. His only real was when he was on 97, where he looked a bit skittish. I think he played one on drive in the air early on in his innings. Apart from that, he was supreme, and I've been critical of Rohit before, but that was one hell of an inning and a partnership really between him and
Rahane
after in that second session, because they played it perfectly. The new batsman in, we've got a jingle for, so we'll line that up as Moeen Ali bowls it to this left-handed batsman, and he gets onto the front foot defence. No run there.
Who's this man?
The stroke play is diverse and as sweet as a slice of Battenberg. Extra, extra, extra. Extra, 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 because if you can't score runs, then it's the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin, the spin that will bring him some wickets.
There you go.
And Axel's next ball is a filthy short ball, but you can't beat that infield with the cut, and it'll be no run. It's a better ball from Moeen Ali. Third ball, Fuller, and drags Axel forward. You can only defend the ball, squirts out onto the leg side, and no run there.
I mean,
31st, a good 31st over from Moeen Ali, apart from probably one bad ball, and it's 86 for 5.
Go, Jack. Any tweets?
It's a few. Yeah, we've only already got one tweet in. Simon Nag asking, is 375 enough for India to pressure the win? I think yes.
Yeah. Very much so.
And on YouTube, Jimmy Danger asking, is Folks making a real strong case to become England's regular wicketkeeper?
Well, yes.
I was going to say he'll be in there. He'll surely have to play the Ahmedabad test now, won't he?
Well,
yes, I think so.
Well, he's in for the rest of the series, isn't he? Isn't Butler coming back for the? Bairstow? You're not going to have Bairstow in fucking India, are you? I wouldn't touch him behind the stumps. Jesus Christ, his wooden hands. I thought Butler was coming back for the white ball series, and that was it. What's the point in taking him home for one game and then having him back for the third and fourth test? That seems absurd.
So, I mean, Bairstow's going to bat then, I assume, for the tests 3 and 4.
Unless Lawrence does something amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't think he's going to, on this pitch, he's going to be able to do. But you never know. Short ball from Jack Leach, and it's cut by Virat Kohli, cut really well. It's not going to quite get to the boundary. It's dragged in, but they'll run 3 for that as Virat Kohli, who's actually in his 38 balls has looked the most settled as he moves to 12.
Yeah, he's taken his time.
He's the problem in that first innings was he didn't wait to have a look and assess the pitch at all. That second innings in Chennai in the first test, he actually looked very, very good.
Yeah, he did. He
really did need a good ball from Stokes. It was a grubber really that got him out.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli, he looked almost too eager going into that first innings here. He looked he looked so animated on the balcony during Rohit and Pagara's partnership, and then he didn't really give himself a chance. He sort of did that big expansive drive and pitched to the rest for Moeen Ali, but Kohli's looked in a lot more control in this second innings. As Axar faces up to Jack Leach, he plays a forward defensive shot, and the ball squirts out on the inside half of his back through the leg side. They'll get through for a single. India move into 90s, 90 for 5. So I was impressed with Kohli in that first test in that second innings, and I was hoping for a big score here, but I don't think the pitch was ever going to help him if he doesn't give it a chance. As the next ball is whipped through the leg side by Virat Kohli, who, as we said, looks more controlled. It's dragged in by Stuart Broad just a few yards into the boundary. They'll get 2 runs for that. They were thinking about a third. They decided against it, probably sensibly, with the way that England have fielded today.
I mean, in that first innings, Rohit got 160 and Rahane got 73 or something. I mean, that's 230 runs out of a total of 330. So, and the rest of the batsmen who've batted in the entire game have only scored 220 runs or something.
Yeah, exactly. And there was, I think, probably most of that is Rishabh Pant's 50 odd not out. The next ball by Leach is defended on the front foot by Virat Kohli. No run there. Yeah, there's been very few batsmen who've looked comfortable on this minefield. That's what you got to call it, Chennai minefield. As the next ball is driven down the ground beautifully by Virat Kohli. It's one of those beautiful shots that he plays with that broken wrist, sort of collapsed wrist almost, and he drives it through mid-on for one of these.
2 + 2 is on man. 2 + 2 is on man.
It's just a wayward over here from Leach. Needs to stick his head back on and get back into the groove. I think on a wicket like this, you just got to bowl line and length and let the pitch do the work, man. Just got to hit the same spot every ball, make the batsman do the work, and one of them's going to do something crazy.
That's it. You don't have to try too much. And yeah, I mean, but Kohli does all of a sudden now look like he's in more better touch than he was at the beginning of the innings, obviously, but in that first innings as well. As the final ball from Leach is played onto the onside, there won't be a run there. That's the end of the 32nd over. We'll probably get one more before drinks. 96 for 5 India are. Their lead is 291, edging towards 300. And well, I don't think England can do much in this test match but think about the day-nighter now, really. I think it's about case of really, if you can put a few demons, a few scars on the Indian batting order, all well and good, but you're not going to be able to chase 300 on here, unfortunately.
No, it's going to be interesting as well, because if India win here, the Test series is alive all the way through anyway, because England won the first Test.
Full of ball from Moeen Ali as he starts his of the 15th over of this session. It's played onto the leg side by Axar Patel, no run.
And both sides have the opportunity to scupper the other one's chance against the World Test Championship all the way through this series now.
Exactly, as the next ball is played from the outside half of Axar Patel's bat, it rolls out into gully. They'll get through for a single, and as the old Alien versus Predator thing is, whoever wins, sort of we lose, which would mean that if there is a draw, it'll be Australia who would be going to the
Well,
World
exactly,
Cup.
but I mean, if the series ends up 2-2, both sides don't get through either, do they? India have to win either 2-0.
They have to win 2-1, I think. Minimum. And England
have to win 3-1.
Have to win both of them, would they?
Yeah.
I imagine. As Moeen Ali's slightly shorter ball, well, not shorter ball, but a ball that's short enough for Virat Kohli to get onto the back foot. He plays defensively out on the leg side. He won't beat that umbrella leg side field, and there'll be no run there.
And of course, if England won the next game, they'd be 2-1 with a chance to get into the final if they won the last one, and India would have a chance to scupper us if they beat us in that one too. So it's quite an interesting series.
Oh, it's yeah, absolutely. I think a full Test series, sort of alive all the way through, is sort of dreamland, isn't it?
Yeah.
As the next ball from Moeen Ali is played up again on the leg side, no run there. I think India do deserve to be in the final over the sort of 2 years. They've sort of played pretty consistently home and away, I'd have to say. As the next ball from
England have
Moeen
too,
Ali.
to be fair.
I suppose
Australia have done
the
all
final.
right, haven't they? But New Zealand have just played an awful lot of home series. They've thumped everybody.
and been pretty. Have they won away at all?
I'm not even sure they've played away.
Yeah, exactly.
They got a really creditable result in the UAE.
Get 1-1, did they?
I think they got a 1-1, which almost no one has done for ages. And I think they might have won in Sri Lanka as well, in the cycle.
Well,
So they have played away. I think they might be their only 2 series off the top of my head, but they did all right.
Yeah, but I mean, they've been unbeatable at home, haven't they? So
just a couple of tweets whilst I've got the chance as well. Messi Jez saying this is basically retweeting Andy Zaltzman with a list of England wicketkeepers who have 3 stumpings. I think the one prior to Folkes is Alan Knott. So it's basically a completely different era of cricket, and I think that's sort of illustrative of the wicket we're playing on. It feels like it's from not the 21st century.
we are due a change as well, by the way, guys. Nestlers and Indo are coming back. You two are off, but you're back for the next session. Yeah.
Yep, and I'll be back for in half an hour's time. And that was an interesting little session up to drinks, wasn't it? So England took 4 wickets, and not many runs were added, but they're so far behind the game that it probably doesn't matter. Anyway, there'll be change now. See you later.
See you later. Hello, Anindo.
Right now,
Hey,
you two.
how are you?
I want a good, clean fight. And when I say break, I want you to break. Okay?
We'll be gentlemen about. We just have a disagreement. That's all.
Yeah. Bear and I never go at each other.
No.
We have gentlemanly disagreements.
I mean, I said it all in the last session I was on there. I mean, I just think it's fair enough, but yeah, I just don't think it's a great test wicket. That's my thoughts. But we can't bang on about that all the time. Well, you are given what you are given, and you play the game that's in front of you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, as I said, I think Rohit and Rahane scored, 230 out of 330 in the first innings, and Pant the other 50, and the rest of the side got nothing. England got nothing apart from Folkes getting 41. I just think it's really difficult to bat. And I don't have a problem with that happening from even sort of late on day 2 or into day 3. I just think having it do that from ball 1 of day 1 is not great. But hey ho, that's the way it goes. They're having drinks.
It's a shame that just one of our players didn't put in a score, because you'd have a match on your hands, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would do. I mean, I think you have to, as Avi said, you got to hand it to Rohit. I mean,
yeah.
In much the same way that Root's innings in the first test was the difference between the two sides, that will be the winning score in this test. And it takes someone to do that. He'll get man of the match, and everything will be forgotten.
Yeah, I found it particularly intriguing what Jack was saying just before he left about this doesn't seem like a pitch from the 21st century. Well, he looks like he was born in the 21st century, so
yeah, he's a millennial.
So I'm not surprised. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I only have one comment to that. I think we've seen a lot of different pitches over time, and my point has always been that I like pitches which have a lot for the bowlers. That's just me. Now, whether you want the pitch turning on day 1 or you don't want the pitch turning on day 2, sometimes depending on the surface, it's difficult to engineer it exactly as you want it. So either you'd get something like the first test, which was a road, I maintain, for the first 1.75 days, and then on 5 it was as bad as this pitch.
Yeah.
Or you have a pitch like this, which is bad on day 1 and day 5.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite intrigued by your point yesterday about the fact that there is no seam in India. As Leach comes in to bowl his first ball the next over, he's bowling at Axar Patel, and just defends it out to mid-wicket, and there's no run. Of course, we forget that. I mean, in England, we're used to the pitch not doing anything anyway. I mean, most of them, you get a bit of seam movement if you get a green top, especially earlier in the season. But a lot of it's done in the air with the ball. That one goes past the outside edge,
this one,
and it's taken by Folkes, who once again takes the stumps, but Axar Patel's foot didn't move, and there's no run.
I was thinking there's probably 2 or 3 places where you could conceivably have a bit of that. One is Dharamsala because of just where it's located up in the Himalayas, and sometimes go on after
defended by Patel, just in the offside. There's no run. Carry on.
Yeah, sometimes you can get it in midwinter in Calcutta in the mornings, right? Or you can get
tossed up. Patel comes down the track, Axar, and clips it to Rory Burns, who's at mid-wicket, and there's no run.
And in Mohali in Chandigarh in the winter. I mean, these are 3 places which you can temporarily get movement, but the soil is not conducive to that. Neither is the weather.
Yeah, clipped into the leg side, but Axar Patel, presumably someone out in the deep. There is. It's Ollie Stone, and there will be a single, bringing Virat back on strike. Yeah, and I guess, in England, if you're lucky if you get spin on day 5, that's why we don't really have much of a spin attack, I suppose. It's only Leach and best play at Hyderabad as it is that we have 2 spinners.
And then you dock points.
Somerset.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Defended by Kohli, just drops it out on the offside to Silly bit off, and there is no run. Ends the over, 98 for 5. Any tweets there, Nestlers?
Let's have a look. Tony Bishop has tweeted in 2 bowlers I'd love to see on this track: Simon Harmer and Ollie Rayner, because England does not produce the pitches to encourage players like them. Jersey Oak says, morning, as Michael Vaughan plagiarised me, we're doomed. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I saw that. Neymar Butlins, looking up the greatest final inning chases, I'm saddened that GC commentators do not believe that our boys can match Sunil Gavaskar and Viswanath's heroics against the Windies in 76 or Bradman in 48 in Leeds. Are you not British?
Well, I mean, there's always a chance, but I mean, you got to say, I mean, on this wicket, there's pretty much definitely a ball with your name on it.
I mean, when Gavaskar and Vishy scored, sorry,
defended by Axar, no run.
Yeah, scored it at Port of Spain. Port of Spain wasn't, a pitch which had any demons in it. It was the match after that at Sabina Park, which there was a ridge on which Michael Holding was bowling, and India declared.
Ooh, that's an absolute peach by Moeen. It's pitch, turn, bounce, well taken by Folks, and there is no run.
Yeah, India declared at 5 down in that one in the first innings, and in the second innings, I think after 5 batsmen were dismissed, they had no one left to bat because everybody else was in hospital. Yeah. because Michael Holding was deliberately bowling at the bodies of people on Clive Lloyd's instructions.
Well, yeah, I had Clive in a car for the World Cup the other year. He's a nice man. Probably wasn't very nice in those days.
No.
Left alone outside the on stump. It's turned from outside leg stump, beating the off stump, and the bat, and it's been taken by Folks once again. Prodded forward by Axar Patel. Spins past the edge once more. Folks takes it. I mean, Folks is a quality keeper, you have to say, having watched in this, and he's a different class to Butler.
He's the best overseas wicketkeeper I've seen in India in a long time.
Yeah, well, that's because most bloody keepers these days are keeper batsmen, aren't they? And that's defended in the offside, and there's no run. The art of keeping solely as an art.
He can bat though. Oh.
Yeah, he can bat. That's right, but he's not the explosive Butler. No, it shouldn't matter. You're right.
It's his birthday apparently.
What, Folks?
Yeah, it's his 28th birthday.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Clipped nicely by Axar Patel out towards deep mid wicket, and it's going to beat, who's that? Dan Lawrence chasing it out there, and he's going to get himself 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Do you think there's any chance he'll keep his place?
No.
To me, that's really ridiculous because he's worth, I mean, what's he got? How many wickets has he got in this match?
He's got 3 stumpings or 4 stumpings?
Yeah,
3 stumpings.
I mean,
yeah, but the thing is, his worth in England for stumpings is never going to be anything, is it? I mean,
why?
Well, because Leach will get about 5 overs in the second innings, and Jimmy Anderson will be taking all the wickets. And the art of keeping, I mean, I've said this many a time, the art of a good keeper, or the sign of a good keeper, is a man who can stand up, who's good standing up. There are a lot of lesser keepers who can stand back. And England want the runs out of Butler, and it's all about balance of the side, etc., etc., etc. And if you have Folks and you have Butler in the side, then you lose someone like Pope in the middle order, and England don't want that, and you want 4 seamers and da-da-da-da-da. So he's almost like a luxury because he's a quality keeper, and he's a luxury worth having in the subcontinent. Defended back down the track to Leach, and there's no run.
While you were speaking, sorry, they were showing a replay of Axar Patel hit the 4, and Kohli went up to him and saluted him for the 4, which is pretty funny. But in this scenario, I think a 4 probably deserves 1.
Oh well, exactly. Defended into the offside by Kohli, and there is no run. It was a good shot. Went right deep in his crease. Clipped the wrists.
There he is.
Keep your eye on the ball, says Kohli, and he was. Kohli goes back and just plays it out the outside half of the bat to cover, and there's no run.
I mean, if Folks is going in and getting 60, 50, whatever, where's Butler? Butler's getting 30.
Well, this is true. Defended in the offside, and there is no run. Butler got 50 in the last game.
I don't know.
Is Annie on the show at all
today?
Oh no,
no, she's not on today.
That's why Nestlers is really brave.
Ooh, prodded at by Kohli, out goes deep in his crease again, but follows it with a bat and it just fizzes past the outside edge taken by Stokes, and there is no run. No, I mean a good keeper standing up is worth their weight in gold, you know.
How can you not stand up to spinners, though? I mean, how can you be a wicketkeeper and not stand up to spinners?
Well, it depends where you play your cricket majoritively, you know. That's filthy ball by Leach. It's a full toss. And Kohli gives it the treatment it deserves, and it's slapped down to square leg for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, even in England, the turn is, even when it does turn, it's hardly going to be, you know, this kind of turn. The pitch isn't going to be exploding. It's going to be quite a gentle turn. And, you know, spinners really don't get that many overs over here. And so they find him, you know, surplus to requirements, as it were.
Yeah.
It's harsh on him. I'll give it that. I mean, we've had this running argument going for donkeys, haven't we? I mean, Butler had a couple of bad tests in the summer and everyone's going, bring in folks. And there is an argument for it, but the management, I just don't want to go there. It's kind of like they let him off the leash when they go to the subcontinent. You know,
Harry Atkinson says, now I know why I stick with you guys. Turn the telly on and Ben Folkes seems to have verbal diarrhea. Well bowled Leachy ad infinitum.
Yeah, well, that's keepers for you as well. Maybe they don't like that. Oh, now that's got to be close. There's a big appeal for LBW. It's been given. That one actually went straight on rather than turning, and I think Axar Patel was playing for turn. Beat his inside edge of his bat, crashed into his pad on his knee. Is he going to review it? I think he's gone upstairs, and maybe he thinks he got an inside edge. If not, Kohli seems to be saying it hit high on his thigh, but I don't think so.
I don't think so. I thought it hit his pad. I mean, if it didn't hit his bat, he's out.
Yeah, I reckon so. It's straightened enough. Oh, there could be an inside edge there, though. Oh, no, it has hit his inside thigh of his back leg, but obviously he's leaning right forward. Now, the question is, it did go pretty close to the bat. Now, there could be a little inside edge. Axar Patel didn't seem to think that he'd hit it, and there is nothing on ultra edge, in which case I imagine this will be out. The umpire has given it out. It's missed the front pad, and it has hit high up on his thigh, but his thigh is right forward on his back leg, so it's lower. It's about level with his knee. It's pitched in line, it's hit in line. In fact, it's hit right in front of middle stump, and it's going on to clip the top of middle stump. Axar Patel is gone. 6 down. We've lost 5 wickets this morning?
6. Well, this morning 5, yeah.
5 this morning. In the space of an hour and 15 minutes. This game is going to be done by about tea, is my bet. And England are going to be, I think we're going to get more than 36, at least I hope so. But I don't think we'll last very long.
On your bike, mate.
So the lead is how much now? 301. Okay.
More than enough. It was more than enough. You could have made us. Well, you couldn't make us follow on, could you? Because we just about beat it. But
what do you think they're going to declare on?
I don't think they're going to declare. Like I told you right at the start. I don't know. Yeah, you were there at the start where I said they're probably going to get all out.
Yeah, I think if they get 150, they'll be happy, and England will probably be. Unless Root does something spectacular. But someone has to stay with him. And the only likely person to stay with him for me would be Ben Stokes, but I think Ashwin will have him on toast with the ball spinning away from him. I mean, the ball that got him out in the first innings was an absolute peach.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
That was almost the exact ball, bizarrely, with which Ashwin bowled Alistair Cook twice in 2018.
Yes.
In England.
Well, it's just the one that, it floats up. It's going down to the line, a sort of middle and leg. It drifts a bit. Dips just in time to beat the forward press, and then beats the outside edge of the bat and takes the stumps. The new batsman is this man.
Faced up against the spin, try to cover drive, and there they go again. I'm out LB to Ashwin.
Well, it's pretty fair to say that. I mean, I suppose Ollie Stone got 3 wickets, didn't he? And Ishant got a couple. I mean, pace bowlers are kind of superfluous.
Yeah, I think India got 3 of the English bowlers.
Yeah, I guess a new ball you might have a go with a bit of pace, but that's about it, isn't it? I imagine that India will open up with Ashwin, won't they? Moeen up to the crease, bowls, floats it up outside Ashwin's off stump, and comes forward and drives it back to the bowler, and there's no run. 106 for 6, Ashwin naught. He's just come out to the crease. Kohli 22 off 53, probably the highest score of the innings, isn't it? Maybe not. Maybe Rohit got slightly more. That's up in 2 full and swept by Ashwin. Nicely swept, square on the leg side, and he will get himself 4 runs. And I'm kind of with you. I like to see wickets falling, and I like to see the bowlers in the game. I mean, don't get me wrong. But I think you can have it too one way at times. Moeen up to the crease again, bowls. It turns sharply into Ashwin. He attempts to drive it inside half of the bat, goes to a sort of on Hayden position, and there's no run.
Yeah. Sort of like Headingley 2018.
I can't. You know what? I've watched so much cricket, I can't even remember that game. That one's too short and clipped into the leg side. There's an umbrella out there, and Rory Burns collects it at mid-wicket, and there's no run. I mean,
that's Headingley every 2 years. Doesn't matter who.
Well, I mean, Jimmy in England is, he's an absolute star, isn't he? Well, that's a reverse sweep by Ashwin. That was adventurous. He managed to get a top edge that went over Stokes at slip, who's chased it down to the boundary, and they will come back for a third as he patted it back. It was aerial, went over the top. Safe though, there's no one down there, and he'll retain the strike. No, I mean, a lot of people have trouble in England, but at that point you have to say that Jimmy Anderson and Broad, 1,200 Test wickets between them, and they're probably the premier. We vaunt Australian bowlers a lot, and they may well overtake them. You think that's 4? I'm not sure if they're going to.
Well, he had his leg touching the ground when the hand was on the ball, I think.
Okay, well there you go. You're correct. It's a 4. I'm not going to play a jingle for it. Yeah, your foot was kicking the sponge as you touched the ball, Stokesy. Don't worry about it. It's 1 run. It's not going to make a difference in this game.
So, Messi Jez says, Bear, apart from the stumpings and the bloody good keeping in general, folks, there's a test batting average of 41.5 compared with Butler's average of 34.5.
Yeah,
but it would be crazy to drop him again.
Yeah, but they will, Messi.
Well, Butler's probably played a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, this is only Folks' 3rd test or 4th test. I mean, he got to play the series in Sri Lanka in 2019, I think, at the beginning of 2019. Hasn't played another test since then. And, of course, we've gone back to the subcontinent. They've taken with him because he is a quality keeper. I mean, there was an argument to play him as keeper in Sri Lanka. I mean, everyone thought that they might do because that's where he was successful last time. Butler didn't keep too badly, actually. I mean, he certainly kept better in that first test here than I've seen him keep against a spinning ball for a while. Practice in Sri Lanka. He kept all right in Sri Lanka, to be fair. But Folks just looks much more fluid behind the stumps. Everything works and is liquid in his movement. Leach, too short, crashed into the offside by Kohli, and that'll go out to the point boundary for another 4 runs.
Well, Leach has probably bowled more overs here than in his entire career.
Yeah, probably. More than likely. And this is the difference between the two sides as well, isn't it? There's certainly more 4 balls that England give away. And that was our problem last time we were in India, to be fair. We could never create the pressure that we need that spinners need to create. I mean, this pitch is very, very helpful. So as that's defended by Kohli into the offside and there's no run.
Imagine if Ravindra Jadeja was in the team on this pitch.
Oh, God. Yeah, we wouldn't have got 130 in the first innings.
No.
No. That would have been They've been serious trouble. He's out for the series, I hear, don't I?
Yeah, I think.
Is that the broken finger?
You have to thank the Aussies.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting. We move on to another surface after this, and we don't know what that's going to be like, do we?
No, no one knows.
No one knows. But I imagine after seeing this test, they'll want something similar.
Especially because of its pink ball, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's defended from the crease by Kohli. Outside half the back goes past the slip, but there is a man.
It would be
square.
enormously stupid to have a pitch which assisted pace in a pink ball test, I think.
It certainly would, when you've got Broad and Anderson on the opposite team. Cut by Kohli. There is a slip and a gully, and it's gone into the ground. Gully can't stop it. It's gone too quick, and he's very close. He's got a helmet on. And they'll get a single out to bat with a point. There's no run. Sorry, 1 run. Yeah, although, if it is going to be dewy, it's never easy for a spinner with a wet ball, and it makes the seam soft. The pitch will stay together because it'll have moisture on it, so it might not turn anyway. So that'll be interesting, won't it?
When's that start?
I think it starts. Is it Wednesday of next week? Was it Thursday again? That's left alone outside the off stump by Ashwin, and there is no run, and the 1 ball left in the over.
Well, Kieran Donahue has joined the debate on Hot Mic from Melbourne, wondering about folks.
Around the wicket and defended by Ashwin. That ends that over, and there is no run.
We are not in the England management. Suman Nag says Kohli Masterclass 100, a Leach Pfeiffer and Ashwin Afer is the rest of the day plan. Jazzy Oak says they don't look like GC listeners, they're under 60 for a start. Ooh. Mog says, come on Virat, sporting declaration time.
There's no point.
Mezzy Jez is retweeting stuff from our shop, which is very good of him. Nitin Bajaj has joined us. The umpiring has been a damn sight better this morning. Looks like a memo has been circulated. Kohli is playing a small gem here, though.
He is. Yeah, well, the umpiring decisions. Let's go back there. I mean, Rohit wasn't playing a shot yesterday in Indo. I mean, I don't even know how the umpire considered that he was playing a shot. Not that it made any difference, and it won't make any difference in the long run. But that to me was really poor umpiring. I don't think it was cheating. Someone said I thought someone.
Yeah, I think
cheating.
it was probably just an error more than anything else. I mean,
but the third umpire could have made that call. As far as we were aware, Joe Root is going to come on to bowl.
It's from the pitch, though, isn't it? That call.
Well, that's what everyone was saying, but then people on Twitter were saying that the third umpire could overrule it and make a decision as to whether he played a shot.
I honestly don't know, and even for the third umpire, I think it's his third test, something like that.
Yeah. Root's coming around the wicket to Kohli, who just defends it on the offside, and there's no run. And the other thing, about the umpiring is twice now they haven't played through a couple of calls.
One, I remember one. When was the other one?
There was one in the first test as well. It's a very similar thing. And both on a Rahane actually, as Kohli tries to work it into the leg side and there's no run. There was a one in the first test. I mean, these won't make the outcome of the match any different. But there was one in the first test where Rahane went to sweep, and it missed the bat. But then everyone thought it had come off the glove when he was following through, clipped into the leg side again by Kohli. He'll get himself a single. And everyone thought it had come off either the bat or maybe the glove when he followed through, and that was proven to be the case, I think, when they looked at it at the lunchtime afterwards. But the third umpire basically said he missed it on the sweep and therefore it wasn't a catch, and then hadn't rolled it through. And in the first innings here, exactly the same happened. That one that would have possibly come off the glove, they went for the inside edge for a bat pad and then didn't roll it through. And I think that's gone straight on, flat faster ball by Root around the wicket. Ashwin just plays it to short leg and there's no run. And I think if you're going to do that, you've got to roll through the whole action of the ball to finalise those decisions. Tossed up outside the off stump. Ashwin thinks about a run as he drives it down to Ollie Stone, I think, or Broad at mid off.
They were showing something interesting while you were speaking, where Kohli is standing with relation to the stumps in the first and the second inning. So now he seems to have taken middle and off guard, something like that.
Tried to work it in the leg side. Ashwin leading edge pops up, but drops short of mid off, and there's no run.
So he sort of negated the Moeen kind of delivery, which dismissed him in the first test. He doesn't have that bat and pat gap anymore.
No, well, he's not trying to drive at a ball that's turning into him.
Well, Nitin Bajaj says we know the secret to Kohli's virtuosity this second innings. He's wearing a helmet.
Wow. There's no need to be wearing a helmet.
You know, you saw Rohit getting hit yesterday. I thought that was hilarious. I mean, he bent down to play a ball, and the ball hit him on his helmet, and then he had the usual concussion thing, and he was just laughing because, you know,
it was a spinner.
It's a rule, but
yeah, it's a bit daft. Well, Kohli's on 28, and he's batted pretty well after a slow start. He's got himself in the groove. He's had a few partners for company. No one's lasted particularly long. And Leach is going to continue. I think we'll have a change after this over. At the end of this over, sorry. Defended by Kohli, but it spins past the outside edge of his bat again, and Folkes once more. As to prove a point, he takes the bails off virtually every time he takes a decent ball that's spun sharply.
I think he's just enjoying his time in the sun.
Yeah, and why not, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's good practice as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the mindset, get the muscle memory.
Yeah. Tossed up a bit too full, and Kohli can just bunt it out to the offside between point and cover, and they'll get through for a single. Mason Crane seems to be out on the field. I don't know who's gone off. And the other thing, England's openers, I mean, as much as they've learnt a bit in that first test, this is of a different league, I think, this time of Turner. Sibley will struggle. Burns has had a pretty poor start to the series. Leach is around with that on grubs. But Turns, it would have missed the off stump, but Ashwin jabs his bat on it, out to cover. And there is no run.
Oh, will the media in India shut up about Kohli after this, and India?
Ooh, swept at by Ashwin. Gets over the top of the ball, it spins, and Folkes once again takes the stumps.
It's just he's just you know, they're so polarized about him that they don't see sense. It's not only in the media; it's social media as well. I mean, it's just they allow their personal dislike for how he comes across to interfere with seeing how he captains his team. And I've always had a problem with that.
What, with the media or with Kohli?
With social media and media. Both.
Yeah, India's sway. You know, it so much depends on the result of the last match. Well, Ashwin's come down a track, chipped that up in the air, over long on, and was that a good bit of fielding by Broad? I'm not sure if he pulled that in. He rolled over the boundary and crashed into the boundary boards.
Good job Gary's not on.
Yeah, he'd be complaining about that.
He might be right.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely pointless, right?
Let's have a look. He got down, he pulled the ball back in. That's a good bit of fielding. I don't think it is full on that one. Yeah,
good bit of fielding, but he nearly killed himself.
He did nearly kill himself.
Can't tell from there.
You can't tell from that angle. From the other angle, I don't think his knee was going into the sponge as the ball is let go there, and then he hits there. So I don't think that's full.
Yeah,
but you know,
I think it's okay.
Waste some time talking about it on the TV and showing us replays. And he's ripped his trousers, and there's a little bit of blood on his knee.
Well, he can say he took a part in the game.
Well, yeah. Leach around the wicket, and it's nicely guided by Kohli, late cut, but there is a man at short third man, and he can't beat him, and there will be no run. And this will be our last ball, and then Hendo should be coming back with Jack and Avi, I believe. There's Hendo. He's
I'll probably see you if Hendo lets me in. I'll probably see you in the next test because I haven't confirmed it to him yet. Otherwise, I'll see you maybe in the fourth.
Okie dokie.
We'll talk about it offline.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Indo. We've got some tweets, Nestlers, before you nip off.
Just one. It's from Nitin. Though I'd rather they erred on the side of caution playing under lids versus the spinners. Only reasons: Sabah carrying, poor guy, promising career cut short. He's talking about Kohli wearing the helmet. And that takes us up to date on tweets. I'll see you a bit later.
Okay, Nestus. Avi has joined us. We're waiting for Jack. Round the wicket comes Root. And Ashwin has almost chopped on. He's coming round the wicket, cut back. He was trying to ease it off the back foot and got it a little bit wrong. But he does survive. 70 runs, 5 wickets. I think England have still given away too many runs today. Not that it's going to really make much difference to the outcome of this game. And they're going to give away a few more there. It might even be 4. It was parried, the sweep, by... who was it? Jack Leach, was it? Or Ollie Pope? It was diverted towards Dominic Sibley on the boundary. They've presumably come back for 2. And...
they made 2 though. Yeah, it's been a nice little partnership already. Ashwin and Kohli. It's been attacking as well.
It has indeed. This time Ashwin goes back again, defends into the offside. He's got 13 from 15. That was a lovely lofted shot in the previous over that almost went for 4, almost caused Stuart Broad to decapitate himself. But yeah, Virat Kohli on 29 from 63. He's batted very sensibly, shows he can bat, but I do think they're giving him still too many balls to score off. Onto the front foot this time, and then the ball rears on him and he lifts a bat from the bat to try and keep it down into the ground. You got Avi?
Yeah, I was going to say that's been the difference. Kohli's actually given himself a chance here and he's waiting for these bad balls.
Yeah, I don't think England will get so many bad balls. This is defended by Ashwin. Quicker delivery from Root. Glad to see Root come on. He does get a little bit of turn. He's quicker through the air than Moeen. Can get it to jump sharply. So I certainly think he's worth 2 or 3 overs. Here he is again, swept again, straight to the man at backward square leg. It runs away from him for a moment. They will get through for a single. 127 for 6. Who's on tweets, by the way?
I am on tweets. Yeah, we've got a tweet for Avi. We've not heard you before, says Suman. Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, you've not heard me before? Well, that's probably because I make an appearance every sort of 4 years or 2 years, 2 to 4 years.
For an India series.
For an India series. I have I've been around since about 2011, I think. Almost 10 years.
Yes, you've been involved a long time. That's absolutely right. But rarely seen Avi.
Yeah, exactly. So
you have so many responsibilities these days, don't you?
Exactly. Unfortunately, life gets in the way of watching cricket. Unless it's 4:30 in the morning and they're asleep.
How does that happen? How does that happen? We all wonder the same things. Is it going to be Leach to continue? It's looking that way. It's going to be Bonu Ashwin on 14. England need to nip this partnership in the bud if they can.
Yeah.
Got a slip in a gully. And he's forward to that one. Plays it quite nicely to short extra where the piratical Burns fields, and there is no run.
And any talk of declarations was out the window. India going to battle the bitter end here, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Deterioration.
Yes, indeed. Can it get much worse? This is defended to gully. Can it turn much more than this? I don't know. I mean, how much?
The bounce could become really inconsistent. That's the one thing. A couple now grubbed.
Yeah, if you get a few grubbers as well, then it becomes almost impossible. Oh, he's driven at that one. It stopped on him a little bit. And for a moment, Leach was in business, thinking there might be a return catch, but it dropped short of him.
No, the umpires did have a chat with Kohli and Root earlier. I don't know if it was because Kohli was running on the wicket or something like that. I wasn't quite sure. So I know Kohli was moaning about the English in the first test.
Yes.
For running down the pitch. So I think I wouldn't put it past Kohli being that sort of bastard that he is, running down the pitch as well in sort of retaliation.
Leach again, always swung across the line there, but kept it down. It's going to be 4 runs. Moeen Ali's not going to get round to that. There's no one at deep square leg, so well controlled by Ashwin. He gives himself 4 more runs.
Lovely shot by Ashwin. Actually, I said it crossed the line, but it's that intent. He's not going to let someone like Root try and settle in against him.
Yeah, I mean he's chancing it. He's against the spin, and the bounce is, as we know, erratic there. It could just pop on him, and he could get a top edge. But he's actually controlled that well. He's got a bit longer a reach than many batsmen. He's quite a tall man, and Ashwin, as you probably know. But, what do you be, about 6'3", something like that? 6'2", 6'3", maybe. Tall for a spinner. This one is too short, and it's whipped away through mid-wicket. There's going to be runs again here as Moeen runs around the boundary edge, and they get back for 2. So England leaking too many runs here at the moment. It has been a long effort for Leach in the sun, but they've got to be more consistent. 6 runs off those 2 balls. They've got to make sure that when they don't bowl wicket-taking balls, they don't bowl run-giving deliveries. And there have been too many of those today, even though England have bowled pretty well. Here is Leach again in, and he beats him with one that jumps off the pitch, turns as well. Well taken by Folkes. That is the end of the over. 133 for 6. Jack.
Reasonably quiet on the tweet front. Someone again asking, will Ashwin open the bowling for India in the second innings? I think he probably will. And Nitin basically reeling off a list of Indian prospects who have failed a new fitness test, which is to run 2 kilometres in 8 minutes. So Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan, Nitin Raja, Rahul Tewatia, Siddharth Kaul, Jaidev Unadkat are all unfit.
This is for the ODI teams, the T20s, isn't it?
One of the is it Tewatia? Is he the guy who hit all the 6s in one of the IPL games?
He is.
Amazing.
He was on about 10 off 25 balls, and then was on 50 off 30 balls.
Yeah, it was extraordinary, wasn't it? It really was. Root will continue. This partnership now worth 27 off 35 balls. Very useful runs. He's staying round the wicket to bowl to Kohli. Kohli goes back to a quicker one, which doesn't really straighten that much. So perhaps you need to give it a little bit more air. Root is the man who throws into the pitch a little bit, isn't he?
I think Root bowled all of his balls around the wicket. I think in both innings so far.
Yeah, he does. I can't remember the last time I saw him bowl over the wicket, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not his game to give it more leap and flight, though, is it really?
Not really. He's quite round-armed. This one turns into Kohli. Kohli defends into the offside. Folkes. It's a live wire this morning. He runs through the fielding, even though there was a fielder there. Just can't keep him down at the moment. A couple of stumpings for him. Kohli looking around. He's on 29 now from 65. There's a leg slip in. This is too flat, and he can't actually do anything with it. Just hits it straight to Lawrence at mid-wicket.
I've been impressed immensely by Folkes, and I'm glad that everyone thinks he'll be the keeper for the next T-Test. I was a bit worried that Bairstow might come in with his, as Bear called it, with his wooden hands.
Wooden hands. Whipped away through mid-wicket. Is there someone out there? Yes, it's Dominic Sibley. They're going to just settle for the 1. There was an interesting article in the Cricketer this month, or last month, where Jack Russell rated the various England keepers. And obviously he went for Folkes as the best, but he was actually quite gave quite a lot of praise to both Buttler and Bairstow in a way that I was quite surprised about. Maybe just didn't want to upset anyone. Swept by Ashwin. Again, there's no one back at deep square leg, and that is 4 more. Ashwin is making this a little bit tricky for England.
India have gone past England's first innings score.
They have indeed. The lead is 338 for 6. The score in this particular innings. And if England had any hope, I think Ashwin is the man who's taking it away from them, as he did with the ball, so he does with the bat.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised that Axar came in ahead of him. He didn't in the first innings. Ashwin's actually found his mojo again with the bat, and that's definitely from that Sydney 4th innings sort of rearguard action that he took.
Now we have Root bowling the final ball at the over from over the wicket, just to confuse us completely. It's padded away, and that is the end of the over. 138 for 6. Any tweets?
We've got Jitan Pitkar on YouTube. Say 300 runs were scored on day 1, 220 scored on day 2, and across the whole of the India v Australia series, there wasn't a day 1 and 2 where more runs were scored. What's wrong with the pitch again? I think that's quite selective. I think that doesn't really take into account Rohit's innings or any of what we've seen with our eyes. I just think this pitch is dreadful for a Test match.
I don't think it's good. I mean, I think it's moderately inevitable. I was kind of worried when we heard this thing that the groundsman had been sent away and the management of the BCCI were getting involved. But I don't want to take it any further than that, because we will have this argument to and fro, won't we, about seaming in England. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I think that is another point. Yes, between tests, you haven't got that long, have you? Now this has hit Kohli on the pad. Jack Leach likes it. The umpire doesn't. And he says not out. I don't think they're going to review it as the DRS timer goes down. I mean, I kind of a little bit in agreement with Mark Waugh, which worries me. He said you shouldn't be going through the top on the first morning or the first day, and it shouldn't really. Anyway, here he comes again. Bowls, defended, square of the wicket, and there is no run. Pope is the man who goes into the fielding. I mean, I'm looking back to the summer where we had a run of tests at Southampton. We had a run of tests at Old Trafford. Reasonable pitches, as I recall, maybe did a little bit. Onto the back foot goes Kohli, defends down in front of him, stops the ball from running away kindly for folks.
England can't play 5 tests in 2016 and then another 2 tests here without getting a single turning pitch. I think that's just, you've got to expect at least one, and you adapt to it.
Well, you don't if you're England batsman. This is the thing. It's defended into the offside, and there is no run. I think there was a point yesterday that one of the ways to play this is you have to be prepared to move your feet, and England haven't got enough players who will move their feet, and that's not surprising because they don't play against this sort of turn and bounce ever in English conditions. Really, people will say Somerset, perhaps onto the back foot goes Kohli and defends. In general, you don't get, even if you got onto a slightly turning pitch, it's not going to be doing anything like you're seeing here.
I didn't see what happened much in Sri Lanka, but I thought those pitches were turning, obviously not to this extent maybe, but they were turning from day one.
Well, there was a bit of turn. I mean, Embleton I managed to get quite a lot of turn. He was the only Sri Lankan that bowled well, I think. This is defended again by Kohli. It's the end of the over, 138 for 6, might have even been a maiden. It's always a tricky one, isn't it? The difference is that India have got better spinners than Sri Lanka at the moment.
But how did England bat? Did they use their feet then, or was it still just sweeping from the crease?
A lot of sweeping. I mean, again, it was a route. There was another route double century, wasn't there? I think the problem for Sri Lanka is that they batted so badly. I mean, they batted awfully in the first day of the first test, having won the toss and decided to bat. So England didn't bowl well. England's spinners didn't bowl well to get the wickets that they got in Sri Lanka.
I mean, Subhan's literally asked what is the difference between the second test pitch from what England played on in Sri Lanka. I think the answer is really obvious. The bounce on this pitch has been really inconsistent, and it's not been good enough on day 1 and 2 to have a fair contest, really.
I don't think the bounce has been that inconsistent. I don't think you've had that many grubs. What you've had is that
it's flown off a full length.
When you bowl with overspin, then it will bounce basically.
But it goes through the top, and it looks like it's been bowled on a beach. I take
looking at it though. They scored 300.
There are a few things that, like, the pitch can be bad, and Rohit Sharma can have played the innings of his career. And I think that's the difference between the sides, is that Ashwin can exploit these conditions better than both of the English spinners, and Rohit Sharma played the best innings of his life.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
So India do deserve to be winning, and there's no doubt about that. But I also don't really want to be sitting here at 5:45 in the morning on day 3, and the pitch has effectively meant that there's absolutely no chance of England chasing 300 across 2.5 days of a Test match.
But my point is, if England won the toss, I don't think this would have been any different.
I probably agree with you. But I think the contest has been sawn off. There's at this point in the game, anywhere else in the world on any other pitch, 330 across 2.5 days. You'd be saying that the team batting last has maybe got a challenge, but there's a possibility. England wouldn't have got England wouldn't have
First
got
innings
India's
front door.
first innings score. England,
Ah.
it's across 2 innings. It's.
I don't like to see tests that are going to be over in 3 days, whether that's because the ball's seaming too much or it's spinning too much, and we have had examples of that in England. I mean, thinking back to the West Indies in 2000, I think we had a game that ended in 2.5 days. I don't think no one really profits from that. I mean, especially the boards, because they presumably have, want people to come in for those days and make their money. Broad is going to bowl. Suddenly, the forgotten man is in, bowling with Ben Foakes standing up. I'm not sure what he makes of that, and it's clipped away by Ashwin. That's going to go for 4, I think, although Leach has put in the dive. He thinks he saved it, and he's throwing it back in, but they are going to get back for a third, nonetheless, and Ashwin will move on to 24. India 141 for 6. I think it's a little bit... is that good?
Oh, no.
I think that's got to be given us 4, isn't it? I think his
on
elbow comes around as he's still trying to scoop it back, I think. So I think that is going to be 4. Clipped away usefully by the batsman. Now, what do we think of this? Stuart Broad's coming into bowl with 13 minutes to go to lunch. And Foakes is standing up. Is that an insult to Broad? I don't know. We're still looking at this.
You love a keeper you can stand up to.
Well, you do, but I mean, I don't. If you consider yourself a fast bowler, you think, hang on, he should be miles back. We're going to look at this forever and ever. Surely that's a 4. Just give it as a 4. It's a 4. If his fingers aren't touching, then his elbow is when it comes around. And finally, yes, we decide that it is a 4. So Ashwin moves to 28. Broad has bowled 1 ball in this innings, and he's gone for 4.
It's an infuriating bit more with the third umpire.
Yeah, that took a while to sort out. So Ashwin will continue to face. Broad in again. Bowls outside the off stump, and it's just rather pleasantly laid down to backward point by Ashwin, who looks in pretty good form. I'm not sure this is the right move. I mean, having bowled your spinner pretty much the whole of the session, is this just saying to Broadie, you can have a little look? As someone says, it's the trouble with Broadie, his little leg colour's not going to do much off this pitch, is it? It's just going to come off quite slowly.
This is audition for Ahmedabad, maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
Stay in the side.
This is again just jabbed by Ashwin to backward point, and there is no run.
Very slowly. Sorry.
He's not putting a lot into it, is he? I don't think. He's probably only going to get 1, maybe 2 overs before lunch anyway. The lead is now 337, so you can discount England from this game. It's just a case of how many they get when they do have to reply, and whether it goes into a 4th day.
Do you think India will bat on because they'll want to prove that the pitch is final?
Something like that, possibly. Broad bowls. This jumps a little bit on Ashwin, and he plays it away into the offside. What I would say is that, I've batted on quite a lot of club pitches where the ball goes through the top on the first few overs, and it's almost impossible to get your timing, and that's against. So you often get like a dobber would come on, and he would dob you to death because you just couldn't get your timing at all. You couldn't get any power into your shots, and that's the same difficulty with spinners really. When it's doing that. Oh, he's edged it, and he's dropped by Stokes, and Broad will be furious. Stokes,
gettable, yeah.
A very fine fielder. I think just Stokes is taken by surprise. He thought he's never going to get an edge for this, and he has.
You're absolutely right there.
Yeah, he's put it down.
He doesn't drop many over, Stokes.
No. So that's annoying for England, just to add to the disappointment of this test, really. And it was a good leg cutter actually, but he shouldn't really have been playing at that. And what is Stokesy doing? He ended up going for it with one hand.
That was a surprise. He went with one hand. I think it must have just gone quick for him. That's what it was. Picked up late.
Oh, I wonder whether Stokes, the fact that Foakes is standing up is what fooled him. He didn't see the ball until a little bit later because it was going quite fine of him, really, wasn't it, to his left-hand side rather than his right. Anyway, that's the end of the over. So Broad has finished that. 5 runs from it. 143 for 6. Any more social media?
Nitin and Messi Jess are arguing about whether Stuart McGill was any good.
Where did that come from?
Well, Nitin has said English spinners suffering from the Stuart McGillitis. In every over, there's one Jaffa, 3 dots, and 2 absolute pieces of garbage. And then Messi Jess saying, well, Stuart McGill took 200 wickets at 29, which isn't too bad. So, an element of truth to both of those statements, I think. Suman saying that both Jack and Avi have made some fair points, but we should save some energy for the Ahmedabad pitch.
Well, that could be fascinating, isn't it? With a day-night start in that game. I mean, that's exactly. I think there's going to be more said about that once the pink ball gets to do its stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have much evidence apart from the Eden Garden test, which I think it's the only pink ball test we've had in India.
Right.
Which was definitely suited to the Pacers. But I think, as India said earlier, that the conditions in Eden Gardens is actually always been a bit. Recently, it's been sort of last 3 or 4 years has been very much sort of pace or seam sort of not dominated, but definitely helpful for seams.
I think there is a point actually to be made about India in England as Root starts a new over around the wicket to Ashwin, who pushes to mid wicket. Is that actually India's seamers are much better than England's spinners, is what I would say. They've now got a very good pace attack. This is eased out into the offside. Interesting bit of fielding from Stokes, who runs after this, flicks it back without really looking, facing the other way, and doesn't do too bad a job of it.
And the Indian seamers in India, Shami, Yadav, and Ishant in the last few years as well have bowled at really good averages in India across different types of pitches, sort of very low 20s.
Yep, absolutely. Root over the wicket to Kohli. Kohli defends on the front foot, smothers the spin again on this occasion, and there is no run. Having watched Root, I'm beginning to think Moeen should come back on, because he's bowling too flat to get it to really bounce and turn, I think. Let's see what he does here. He's in, bowls to Kohli. Kohli chips it away. Backward is square again. There's going to be runs. Moeen is after it. I'm not sure he's going to get to it. No, he's not. And that's another annoying boundary for England and a good boundary for Kohli.
He's been wonderful this innings, Kohli. This 34 was actually a gem in the third innings when wickets have been tumbling around him.
I saw someone tweet earlier, not to us in particular, I don't think, but along the lines of he got 9 not out from 37 balls, and it's one of the best 9 not outs he'd ever seen. It has been good, but if you say that, then you have to say that how challenging a pitch it is, because this is one of the world's best batsmen, and he's had to use all his skill to get anything from it as a batsman. Anyway, 148 for 6. Root in again, bowls, and pushed through mid-on. Easy single for Kohli. And he moves on to 35. The lead is 344. You don't need to worry about that. England have lost this test. However, they need to use the time out there to get experience of this sort of thing. So maybe when they come back in 3 or 4 years' time, they are able to deal with it a little bit better.
Obviously, you don't know what Ahmedabad holds for them as well, so they might get similar.
Well, that's true. So that's absolutely a very good point to make, that they might need to bat on something similar later in the series. So any time they can use out there getting experience of it is going to be good. This is defended to mid-wicket. There is no run. At the end of the over, India are 149 for 6. I think the problem for England is that although they've taken those wickets today, 5 of them in the session, that India have still managed to score, what is it, almost 100 runs.
Yeah, about 3.5 and over as well.
Yeah,
so
it's still been too. I think they were very accurate early on, but as the day or as the morning session wore on, England got a little bit looser. Moeen and even Leach bowling too many hittable balls. Broad, I imagine, is going to continue. It'll probably be, maybe the final over before lunch. Here he comes. He's had Ashwin dropped. He's bowling to Kohli. He's in, and Kohli leaves outside the off stump. Good take by folks. I agree with you. It is wonderful to see someone standing up to this sort of pace and have a wicket-keeper good enough to do so. So from that point of view, it gives an extra element of interest to watchers.
Yeah. And it looks so weird when you have the first slip there as well, because
yes,
just the angles of where he's standing and in relation to the keeper, it just looks odd.
Yeah, and I do think that's possibly why Stokes put that one down. Yeah, maybe Folks' glove was just blinding him to the initial contact. In comes Broad again onto the front foot. Goes Kohli, plays it out the offside, wants a single, sent back by Ashwin. And I think it's Dan Lawrence coming around to do the fielding. So the score remains 149 for 6. This has been a very good partnership. Ashwin has dominated it really, 30 off 35. Kohli 35 off 79.
He's given this innings a great deal of impetus, hasn't he?
He has. And England need to try and take something from that. They say, Ashwin is not a bad batsman at all. He started off as a batsman as a junior, didn't he? But you've got to take some confidence from that. Onto the back foot goes Kohli, defends, square of the wicket, just slightly backward. There is no run. Broad really not putting that much effort in, just 129 kilometres per hour.
Do you think they'll go with Broad and Anderson for the day night one?
Well, I mean, you've got to factor in the equation of Archer coming back, haven't you? If he gets over the elbow injury, and he should do. I mean, it's a complete 7 days between tests, and in fact, this one is going to finish early, so there'll be a little bit more rest. Outside the off stump, a little bit too wide, left alone by Kohli, and taken.
And I suppose if Mo and Ali bats well in the second or in the fourth innings, can you play Bess, Leach, Ali, Broad, Anderson?
No, you can't. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they'll stick with Moeen. If they play two spinners, they might even think of playing an extra paceman. Wokes might come into the equation if there's going to be swing involved. In comes Broad, played off the back foot by Kohli into the covers, and again there is no run. And of course, when we say there is no run, it's one of the great philosophies of guerrilla cricket that there is no run. There are other great philosophies like Ashik takes wickets and one or two of those, and you'll find those on t-shirts and mugs and various things in our newly renovated store. The Bear's been in there. He's been putting up models, various things like that. He's been playing with mannequins, and you can go and have a look at that on our website. Please do, because any money you give to us, as this is defended by Kohli, any money that we make is plunged or put back into the company to keep us going, really. We are not professionals, we are well and truly amateurs. That is the end of the over, just a maiden really there from Broad. 149 for 6 is the score. Looks like we're going to get one more, 2 minutes to go until the interval. So is it going to be Root, or is he going to turn to Ollie Stone for his regular one over before lunch? Possibly not.
He had to go for Broad for a bit of control though, and Broad actually has duly supplied it, because obviously, as you said, they were getting a 4 ball every over before the bats. Not 2, but Broad, apart from his first ball, which was a clip for 4, is bowled with a great deal of control.
Yeah, and should have had a wicket really. Well, it's going to be Dan Lawrence. We are going to get more spin. I haven't seen anything of Dan Lawrence bowling, and if he turns out to be brilliant, then we'll think, why the hell didn't we give him a game earlier? He's going to bowl from the Padabiraman gate end.
It's a fun action, Dan Lawrence.
Oh, you've seen it, have you?
Yeah,
it's a fun action. Okay, now
I was hoping he was going to be a leggy, but he's not, is he?
There's a lot.
No, he's an offie. There's a lot going on. Right, well, I'll look out for that. I'm trying to think of the guy from Surrey, Matthew Spreagle. That was extraordinary action that he used to have. He was almost like he was on tiptoes all the way to the crease before delivering it, and it was not unlike that. Oh my goodness me! I see what you mean. Down the leg side, brilliantly taken with one hand by Folks, almost dismissive, as if, oh my god, this is terrible, but I will stick out my hand and see if I can stop it running away for byes. The DRS timer is going. I don't know what that's about. Maybe he thought he got a little bit of wood on it down the leg side. He's going to review it. Now this will be tremendous. I don't know why they're bothering with this. England have got 2 reviews left, I suppose. I've got to use one up. Ashwin looks completely dumbfounded, saying, why on earth are you reviewing that? or maybe that's just kidology. It would be extraordinary if Dan Lawrence had come on and taken a wicket with a ball down the leg side with his first delivery in India. England don't look very confident. Maybe they're just trying to use up a bit of time. I don't know.
For lunch, though.
That's true. It doesn't make any difference, does it? Yeah, it is an extraordinary action. He's nowhere near that. You cannot seriously be appealing for that. I mean, that. Oh, God's sake. I mean, that is missing the bat by almost 8 inches. You cannot seriously tell me that you're appealing for that, England.
It was a good take, though.
Very good take. Very good take. Absolutely diabolical review.
One way to lose your reviews, eh?
That is extraordinary. What was Root thinking? He's laughing about it now, but he may not be laughing about it when Kohli survives an LBW decision on review. Anyway, here comes Lawrence. Most entertaining he's going to be. Here he is. In, bowls. It's almost driven on the full toss up to mid-off. They run through with a single. They've got it.
It's almost not an off-spinner's action, if that makes sense.
He's almost. He looks like the first kind of off-spinner I've seen. He almost bowls off the wrong foot. You see some pace bowlers do that. Not very many these days, but they're going back. I mean, Mike Proctor was the most famous of those. David Smith, who actually turned into a batsman for England later on, used to bowl off the wrong foot as well. I'm trying to think of any others. I'm not sure. Anyway, here he is bowling to Kohli. Kohli's going to take a run as this is pushed into the backward point area. Stokes has to go from slip to field, and India's 150 has come up in the meantime. 151 for 6. He's certainly getting turn. You've got to say that about Lawrence. He's getting turn.
Certainly, I think anyone can get turn on here.
Chris Silverwood finds it hilarious. It's not going to make any difference to the outcome of the game, but a little bit of fun before lunch.
Ashwin treats him with
3 balls to go. 3 men round the bat, 2 falls, driven square by Ashwin, and who's that chasing after it?
Ollie Stone, I think.
Stone it is, yeah. Keep misidentifying Ollie Stone. They got through for 3, so Ashwin is batting extremely well. He goes to 34 off 38. Should have been caught by Stokes, though, a couple of overs ago. Gave England the chance, and if it was a tighter match, you'd be worried about it. Now, hang on, the umpire
on the pitch again.
He's having a word with Virat, and Virat's saying, "What do you mean? I didn't do anything wrong, honestly." And the umpire is saying, "No, actually, I'm going to take you on, Virat. I know you're an absolute megastar." And Kohli turns his back on the umpire, walks back, shaking his head,
and he'll go and put the long spikes on after lunch.
He's still shaking his head. He's having a go at Root. And he's shrugging his shoulders. He's sighing. He's not a happy man, let's put it that way. 100 for the session has come up as Lawrence is in again. Bowls. Hits him on the pad. He's trying to turn that into the onside. Let's have a look now.
See if he ran on the pitch.
That's a little bit naughty, isn't it? He's come right across. Why is he not just running down the right-hand side? He comes right across the pitch, and I think the umpire's quite within his rights to have a word with him about that. I can't see any reason why he would have run in that direction. Anyway, it was Mr. Menon who was having the word. Outside the off stump, driven again. Got almost nobody on the offside, so these are just free runs, really. Ollie Stone is the man after it again. They've got back for 2. Kohli moves to 38, and that is lunch. 7 runs off the Lawrence experiment, and India finished the session on 156 for 6. Could have been worse. I'm not sure what that was worth, that final partnership, but it's putting England completely out of reach. Root and Kohli are having a little chat as they go off. So it all seems quite friendly. So there we go. What do we think? Well, I don't know what we think. I think we think England are out of this game, but we thought that at the beginning of the session. Any thoughts? Any thoughts, Jack?
Quite a lot on Twitter. Shit gets wickets. Possibly the strategy behind Lawrence bowling from Nitin.
Yep.
Dan Diper's drawn us a nice sketch, or drawn everyone a nice sketch, really. Rory Dennis noting that folks has three more stumpings, or has 3 times as many stumpings as Buttler has taken in this game versus Butler's career. Harriet Atkinson has bought a T-shirt. And
Yay!
Before that, Anindo accidentally destroyed our mentions by telling his followers that he was switching off the TV commentary. So there's about 400 tweets about people complaining about various Indian commentators.
Okay, fair enough. Well, not just Indian. I mean, there's quite a lot of there's Mark Butcher and there's Nick Knight out there for the English fans.
It's escalated into whether these commentators are better or worse than Sanjay Manjrekar, which is a conversation you never want to be involved in. So I'm gonna sign off and have my breakfast now.
Good for you. Yes, 102 runs scored in the session in the end. 156 for 6. England gave away far too many 4-balls after a really good start. When they took early wickets, they were a little bit fortunate. They got a weird run out of Pujara, and then it was all down to the spin of Leach and Moeen. Leach has 3 wickets, Moeen has a couple, but again, both too expensive, I would say. Really, and Ashwin has shown that you still can bat on this pitch. He's done pretty well. England, when they finally go out to bat, are going to have to take the attack to India, even though there's 2 days or more to play. You're not going to be able to stick around on this pitch. You've just got to get what you can while you're out there. That's it then from us for the morning session. We shall. What are we going to have, Bear? What are we going to take upon ourselves to listen to at lunchtime?
We're going to go to Chevy Green, director of Surrey Ace programme. He's not Chevy Chase. And we'll see you in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, all right. Cheers, chaps. And other people.
Yes.
Welcome to Gorilla Chat, and today I am delighted to say that my guest is Chevy Green, Director of Programmes for Surrey's ACE programme. Now, a study by Leeds Beckett University last year found that a 72% decrease in black players in the English game between 1995 and 2019. Well, just one English-born black player had played Test match cricket since 2004. That's prior to Jofra Archer. And it's not just in the professional game. In our recreational game, only 1% of players are from African Caribbean heritage. Now, the ACE programme was launched by Surrey County Cricket Club in January 2020 in response to this alarming decline, with the bold intent of doing something about it. And to help us understand what and how well it's doing, I am thrilled to say hello to Chevy. Hello, Chevy.
Hi, Tony. Thanks for having me. Greatly appreciated to be with you this morning and talk around all things the ACE programme. Looking forward to getting stuck in with you.
Well, fantastic. Well, let's lob you a gentle full toss to start with. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came into your current role.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Chevy Green, I'm now director of the ACE programme, but it started off for me at Surrey 7 years ago. Started off as a community coach, became a development officer, and then a cricket participation manager, and this role just kind of appeared, really. I was working on the Surrey ACE programme, and back in March, where we had the trials and the open days, the programme was then heavily affected by COVID, but through that process, Sport England got in touch with us, and they liked what we were doing, and said, we want to support the program to grow. And initially it just started off as an extension of my role at Surrey as a participation manager, where I helped make the bid, and worked with Ebony and Richard Gould to kind of put a bit of meat on the bones to the program. And then skip a few months down the line, as things progressed, Sport England said, let's make this bigger. Could we make it into a national program? And we said, okay, yes, let's look at that. And they said, can you work towards making it an independent charity? We'll give you a year to do that. And between Ebony and I and a few others at Surrey, we set up the charity in 8 weeks. And wow. then the conversation said, who's gonna run the program? So then that's where the role came for me.
You were the only one left sat in the room.
Yeah.
They went, it'll be you.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's kind of looking around, and a few, there's a few rumblings of, Chev, you might potentially get to run this program, and then it happened. So then there's a bit of negotiation between the Surrey Cricket Foundation, the charity arm of the club who I was working for, and the county club and Sport England, and then it was decided that I'd be the director of programs, and I just thankful with everything that's going on this year, the past year or so, to still have an opportunity to progress and develop my career in something that I'm really, really passionate about. And it's exciting. Like, we launched in October as the independent charity, and I'd started on the 1st of December with my new role as director of programs, and it's been quite full on, juggling all the different stuffs with the lockdowns and everything else. And we went as soon as we could get back out in December. We had 3 sessions before Christmas with the current scholars that we've got on the program. And then, we had plans to do some more stuff this month, and we was going to have another open day in February. And, we launched in Birmingham this month as well. And, due to like everything else, it's kind of been put a little bit on the back burner, but there's still a lot of things, going on and taking place. So, just excited.
We'll come along and we'll talk about all of those things in good order, I think. So Ebony Range-Brent is chair of the charity, isn't she? Was she directly involved in your appointment?
Yeah, she was. She kind of founded the program. There was a few people at the time actually having a lot of separate discussions, but Ebony kind of pulled it all together and kind of led from the front on this. And she, I've known Ebony for quite a number of years now, and as we was kind of working on the bid and putting everything together, and as everything landed, she was quite pivotal in having the confidence in me, putting my name forwards to be director of the program. So I'm thankful that she saw something in me and other people at Surrey, like Richard Gould, the chief exec, and my ex-employer Chris Coleman at the foundation, all saw something in me and believed in me, and that I could be the director and take this charity forward. So just positive, and can't thank them enough for
that's fantastic. Great for you and great for them. Let's ask another simple question, just for everyone's understanding. We have a very international audience, not just the UK, I might obviously. So it's a fairly simple one. ACE, is it an acronym? I could see African Caribbean potentially in there. Is it just a statement of intent? Tell us about ACE, the word itself in this context.
Do you know what, Tony? It's a bit of both, if I'm honest. It started off as the African Caribbean Engagement Program, and that's what ACE stands for. And I remember we was in a meeting, and I kind of just said, how can we simplify it a little bit, and that's where ACE came. But Ebony and I talk a lot about accelerated change. So with ACE as well, we use ACE as accelerated change empowerment. So we want to move things forward as quickly as can and empower the young people that we work with to fulfill the potential that they have. So yes, it's an acronym, and yes, it's a statement. I want one day to hopefully everyone will determine the name ACE as part of our program, and not just a serve and tennis
or a card.
Or a card, yeah.
but yeah, I get. Well, it's funny though, because when I looked at multiple articles about you and social media and your own sites, because you got a lovely section on the Kia Oval Surrey site, but then that links to the charity site. You don't ever actually use the 3 words in full, or if you do, I missed it. So that's why I asked that.
It's very rare. It's very rare. I think it's just to simplify it a little bit. But I just want get to a point where everyone knows that it stands for African Caribbean.
Well, the mission statement, bold and clear and absolutely restated everywhere, is supporting diverse talent from grassroots to the elite. And you kind of, I think, cite 3 objectives within that. So to sort of get everyone kind of understanding where we are and what we're talking about, I'm going to read those out if you don't mind, but then perhaps we'll go back to them one at a time, and you can tell us what's going on behind those and what some of the success measures are. So supporting diverse talent from the grassroots to the elite, sitting within that 3 big objectives, which are building grassroots programs, talent pathways, and the better ID within black communities, providing elite academy programs and scholarships to talented players, allowing them to fulfill their potential, and the development of a diverse coaching and volunteer scheme through targeted training and mentor programs. So that's a pretty clear agenda of things to be done. Let's look at them one at a time. Maybe the first one, building grassroots programs, talent pathways, and talent to open up to the black community opportunity. Tell us a bit more what's behind that and what's been happening and how you're doing.
Yeah, so for us, like, we know there's talent out there in the black British communities, and we've seen other sports excel in that. Football's got a high number, rugby recently, athletics, other sports have captured that talent. So for us, there's a long history, I guess, with the black community with cricket, going back to the Caribbean and Africa, and we just want to try re-engage that. And to do that, we're unfortunately we're at a stage where we have to infuse and find the talent out there, and by doing that we have to go to where they are. So we've got a school program that we plan to roll out, and going into and setting up community hubs, and just being an access point. So we've got to really try and get to where the kids go, working with schools and youth clubs and community groups, and doing a series of different, skills and challenges that are cricket based, but also a bit fun. And then from that, we'll be able to draw, some key denominators that we can say that they've got potential or a bit of talent, and then put them into our academy program if that is required.
I saw one extraordinary stat, I think, from one of the things Ebony had said. It was 33,000 black children walk past the gates of the Oval every day. Was it every day, every week? But the point, I suspect, was, the just massive, untapped, probably unmotivated, not currently interested but could be, well of talent that potentially is out there right on Surrey's doorstep.
Yeah, it's quite sad when you look at it, because there'll be many kids and families that are in the vicinity of the ground that are from the community that we want to attract, but some of them wouldn't even know that the Oval is a cricket stadium. Imagine that for us as cricket fans, the Oval is iconic, but people living on their doorstep some of them wouldn't even necessarily know it. Is it a football stadium? Is it rugby? They wouldn't necessarily know that it's a cricket stadium, which in some aspects is very embarrassing. So part of the thinking at the start was, how can we infuse the communities that the Oval is in, Lambeth, the heart of got a big history of black communities. We need to be more, the Oval needs to be more reflective of that, and unfortunately for many years it hasn't. So by having this program, we hope to change that and make the community feel a lot more that open to coming into the ground, whether it is to watch, to play, and just be a part of it. And a lot of the areas that we plan and hope to go into, and by launching Birmingham is all targeted boroughs that have a higher population of the black community. So for us, it's as part of our talent pathway. The only slight difference is where we'll be doing the school stuff and the community engagement program and the community hubs is for a young black boy and girl who's got African Caribbean heritage. We'll look to kind of accelerate them into our academy if they've got a bit of talent, to give them some additional support. And if they're any, we're going to be working with all ethnicities. London is multi-diverse and loads of other areas are multi-diverse. So talented young Asian or white children, they'll still get the opportunity to be part of our program at the kind of school and community level. But if they've got a bit of talent, we'll put them into my colleagues at Surrey to facilitate their development that way into the existing program there. All we're doing is through the ACEs providing a bit of extra support and coaching for young black British children.
I saw an interesting quote. I don't think it was that recent, but it was by Daniel Bell Drummond, I think, and he was talking about the different challenges between African Caribbean and South Asian communities. And the case, or the argument he made was, or the challenge he put forward was, in the case of South Asian communities, there was the massive interest in playing the game, but working them through to the professional system was the harder part. But in the case of the African Caribbean communities, the kind of the interest in cricket has waned to the extent that it's getting them interested in the game itself. So it has a different set of challenges. How do you kind of gear up to address those challenges? It's one thing to, promote being in clubs and things like that, but you're actually having to almost reignite the interest of a whole generation in the game of cricket, or certainly be part of that. How do you see that as a sort of a different set of challenges that you've got?
Yeah, no. First and foremost, I have to say thank you to Daniel anyway, because Daniel's a good supporter of us at the charity. He did a good Zoom with us, our young scholars, so that was quite inspiring. And yeah, as you said, the percentages that you raised earlier are dire. A 1% participation at recreational level, and the drop off at the professional games are dire. So for us, it's trying to boost those numbers, and with the South Asian communities, culturally, historically, a lot of the main sports that they play, all over the world, those South Asian communities is their main sport is cricket. So they have a vast interest in the game, and they've continued where they've still got their separate kind of parks leagues and leagues that they play on a Sunday. So that whilst they're still ingrained in playing on a Saturday in the traditional formats, they still continue their long history of their own cricket and infusing that. And years ago there was the same for the Caribbean cup competitions that used to take place. I remember the Clive Lloyd Cup and all those kind of things, and unfortunately for the Black British community over here, that kind of stopped and didn't continue. A lot of let's say the forefathers of the game, who are now probably grandparents and parents, didn't necessarily pass down that same love for cricket, and potentially there was a few barriers in there, time, finances, many different potential aspects that could happen. But ultimately, that love for the game necessarily wasn't passed down as massive as it was within the South Asian communities. So for us, we've got to try and make a change. We're kind of, as you say, starting afresh in some places, but it's exciting that we've got somewhere to start, which isn't that high, and hopefully through this program we'll be saying that we can get the numbers up to one day just as much as the South Asian communities have had over the years in this country. And the journey, it's all part of a journey, and our journey starts at one point, and hopefully we've done some good things already, but the main plan is, COVID permitting, we can go and infuse as many people as we can.
It might take longer than we want, but it will permit eventually.
So it will definitely come, but
So it's grassroots participation to ignite interest, and kind of starting on your own doorstep. But Surrey is jolly well located in a way to do that. I'll come on and talk about some of the expansion and other things. You talk about as well, the other one was providing elite academy programs and scholarships to talented players. Now you have one young chap at Surrey, don't you, who's coming through? Talk a little bit about how the academy is going.
Yeah, the academy's good. We've got 26 scholars at the moment, from all up and down the country. Actually, we've got a couple players from Bristol that travel down, one from Hertfordshire, one from Cambridge. A young lady travels down from Cambridge. So we've got players coming from all over. We unfortunately, the program has been heavily impacted, like anything else. So we didn't have through the summer as much training sessions and matches as we'd have liked. But for us, like you mentioned, the young man Idris, was already a talented young player. And for whatever reason, didn't make it, and we didn't make Idris a talented player in the summer. The two training sessions and two games that he played in, he was already talented. All we did was expose him and give the opportunity in front of the right people. Credit to Jeremy Greaves, who's one of the performance managers at Surrey and is one of the head coaches on our program, and Gareth Townsend, the academy director at Surrey. They saw him, and he ended up getting to play a game for the Surrey under-18s at the back end of this season. So for us, it's just trying to create that opportunities where we can. We know there's some talented players. We've got within our scholars at the moment. We've got some high-end level talent of players that we want to keep providing those opportunities to play, and there's others that are kind of starting more on their journey. We've got a little bit more of a long way to go, but it's just supporting their development to get better. So we were having regular 2-hour sessions in once a week.
Did I see a number of about 70 signed up academy scholars? at some point?
We had at our trial. So we had at the open days we had 70 people attend the open days,
right.
And then we whittled it down to 24, and then over the course of the summer we took on 2 extra as well. So yeah, we've got varied levels in the current scholars of abilities, some at the higher end, some at the lower end, but yeah, we're just trying to support them to be as best players as they can, and whether that is to continue their ambition to become to get into a county age group, and for others it might just be a better club player. So we're just trying to manage everyone's expectations best as they can. And in the past couple of weeks, we've had some interest from a lot of parents and players that are currently at some existing county age groups across the country, and feel at times slightly isolated, being one of the only black children playing, or one of 2 within their respective counties, and they've faced, unfortunately, some of them have faced some on the field and off the field racism, and felt that sometimes the support that they've received from the county wasn't enough, and they've reached out to say, what can Ace do for them. So we're kind of working on a mentoring type program to support those existing players at county age groups, and their parents, just being, not necessarily on the playing side. If they need some extra assistance with the playing and coaching, we'll do that, but it's more on the mentoring side, just being a support mechanism for the parents and the players, when they face these issues. So yeah,
for every promising sports person going through age groups, there's a parent that gets them where they need to be. Trust me, I know. Okay, so that's very much about the academy and bringing on talent. And the third thing you talk about was development of diverse coaching and volunteering scheme to actually bring through the training and mentoring. Now, the professional game is not necessarily a great thing to look at by and large right now in terms of the number of black African Caribbean coaches. So is it a question of really sort of starting at grassroots level to ultimately change that?
Yeah, to a certain extent. That we know there's a lot of existingly there's quite a lot of coaches out there. Well, I say a lot. There's a lot of male coaches out there at the moment. Coaching in the different environments, but we found a lot of them are, say, at level 2. And we want to try and progress them onto level 3 and create opportunities where they can get into the performance environment, and also we just want to attract more coaches into the game, try and get we want cricket to reflect society, and like I said, with a lot of these cities, London and Birmingham are very diverse, and I think cricket should reflect that in the areas that they're in. So we want to try and encourage more coaches from the black community to get involved, and we definitely want to get more women involved in the game. We want to get more women coaching. We want to try and get more women and girls playing the game as well. And the other thing we know, Tony, is that the percentage to become a professional in any sport is low. The numbers are low, so what we want to try and do is keep everyone infused, and the young people that we work with and the old ones, we just want to try and get more talent from that into becoming coaches, sports strength and conditioning coaches, nutritionists, scorers, umpires. It could be the next second 11 or third 11 captain at a club, and the more junior coaches working on programs. So we just want to try and diversify cricket through our program, and like I said, the main thing is I feel like cricket should reflect society, and we live in a very multicultural time, and I think cricket could play a part in that, and hopefully we'll do that through this program to try and get more young coaches.
On Guerrilla Cricket, we would 100% support you on that. Let me so you talked a little bit about the 3 objectives and some successes that we're already seeing there. One of the things you've mentioned the phrase, actually, and certainly Ebony has spoken about it in sort of various interviews I've seen that she's done about accelerating change.
Yeah.
Let's try and put pandemics to one side if we possibly can. Give that just imagine for a second we could. If you project yourself forward 3 years of accelerated change from where we're going to be having this conversation in 3 years' time, either in a studio or at the Oval, or somewhere around the world because you've gone global. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you looking back and saying we have done? What does success look like 3 years from now?
3 years from now, that percentage you first spoke about is going to go way up. I don't want to put a number on it just yet to sabotage myself at the moment. But no, definitely more young Black, British, African, Caribbean heritage children playing the game, infused. We've got plans to do that by, looking at some of the key national programs the ECB do. All Stars Cricket and Dynamos, and working with other partners like Chance to Shine to try and spread the awareness and going into targeted boroughs and places and cities where we know the higher populations are. So by naturally doing that, we believe that we will be able to get the numbers up, and then not just getting people playing. We want to really transition. We want to transition players. So I'd love to say to you that in 3 years' time, some of the ones in our academy scholars at the moment who are maybe at the moment say 14 or 15, by the time 3 years down the line, we could say they're 18, 19, and hopefully would have had an academy contract, or playing on a rookie contract somewhere at a county. That's kind of the main goal. And like I said as well, Tony, it's just we want to empower the young people. We know not everyone is going to become a professional as much as we'd like them to. So it's just hopefully we could get some people working within cricket still, whether that is within cricket development, whether it is in the marketing team, whether it is events, but still involved in the game. There'll be more of a diverse feel to it, because at the moment you look at many of the different county boards, there's not many black faces across the country working in cricket development at the various counties. So that's
or at the coaching level or at playing level, and there's in a nutshell our challenge, right?
Yeah, so it's just the case we want to try and through this program make sure that we're supporting cricket to get more black faces into the game, and I'm excited to try and do that, and that is the goal. And we want to expand, and we've got some ambitions to go into other cities, and already we've had some great interest from other counties already that are reaching out to us, so we just want to be in a position to service that.
Well, let's talk about that, because you've already I think you mentioned earlier, you talked about Birmingham and Warwickshire and your high concentration of black African Caribbean communities. You have expanded or replicated or licensed the model out, however you've done it, to work with Warwickshire. Tell us a little bit about how that's going.
Yeah, that kind of those initial conversations started happening around September last year, and then they progressed once we launched it properly in October. We've had a lot of meetings since then, and the plan was to launch this month. Obviously it's impacted like everything else, but it's replicating the same model where we would have been going out into schools, just in the targeted area of Handsworth in Birmingham. We would have been doing some stuff around there, and it kind of mirrored the same. They would have set up an academy, they would have weekly sessions, and they would have had a community hub as well. So everything that we're kind of doing in London, we're looking to do in Birmingham. Everything will look the same, and the support will be the same as well. And we just want to, by doing that, we had it's probably come a lot sooner than we thought. We kind of had a year we was going to try and focus just on London, but we couldn't turn down the opportunity once Warwickshire were on board and was interested, and credit to them and credit to everyone else behind the scenes to help push that through. And we just got to be adaptable in this time, and they'll be starting their academy once.
Is there a Chevy of Warwickshire?
Who's in there is I've got a good friend, a guy called Eaton Gordon. Eaton's been involved at Warwickshire for a number of years. He's a manager in their cricket, their county board. Eaton's a great guy. He's been involved in cricket for a long time, and he's got a lot of good local knowledge to the area, especially Handsworth. His cricket club is Handsworth Cricket Club, so he's got vast experience. And trust him wholeheartedly to deliver the program just as well in Birmingham. And we have regular chats, and it's quite I think with anything you got to have the right people around you. And Eaton's one of the good guys in cricket, and we'll be supporting him as much as we can, and the team up there. And like for us as well, it's not just the London program, it's now a Birmingham program, so we've got to be just as visible in both cities to attract both. And
I can think of 501 good reasons